Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show with 3 rules. Number 1, like yourself. Number 2, you have to eat healthy. Number 3, you gotta squeeze your buns. That's our formula. I'm Ryan Knightsey. And of course, I'm joined today by none other than the Mr. Wonderful himself, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how you doing on this fine Sunday morning?
I broke all those rules already, so tough day indeed.
Tough start to the day.
Tough day to be a Ring Post.
That's because we're rule breakers, Scotty. That's because we're rule breakers at heart.
I've never really been viewed as a rule breaker, but it's fine. I will say that I realized today, as I was logging in to do this show, as I do every Sunday morning. Shut up, dog. God. Sorry. Dog keeps barking. I apologize. What was I saying?
You were logging in this morning?
Oh, I was logging in this morning. I realized today. This is the 8th day in a row that I've done a recording. I think I'm losing my sanity.
Hey, when you get some free moment in your life, you commit to audio. I mean, I understand that.
The thing is, though, like, it's not on purpose. Like, I didn't mean to do 8 days in a row. It just happened naturally, and I'm just realizing it now.
So we're the final day of Hanukkah for you. Is that what you're saying? That's what Ring Post Radio is?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's and this is probably going to be the longest show of them all. Or, I don't know if it's longest, but it's the most things to talk about, at the very least.
It's certainly not the shortest. We can all agree.
No. I don't even know what the shortest was, but everything was over an hour. So take that as you will. But I'm here. I'm ready to talk about things that I certainly was not expecting to be on the topic board today. Like, think about this. We got 2 big shows to talk about. We got the G1 Climax to preview. We got
the N1 now, in a way.
Plus the N1 to talk about. And Stephanie Vaquer had to just blow all that up.
As of last week, she was, well, not last week, I guess. Technically last week.
Our last episode that we knew of, we were getting ready to talk about her Fantastica Mania match. Instead, she made us abandon Fantastica Mania, kind of like she did.
Oh, we're working stiff today.
I didn't mean it like that.
No, you're fine.
But, obviously things went haywire, and we're going to talk about all of it. I love Stephanie Vaquer, very supportive of her this week. But, I feel bad for CMLL too. I think that's fair. I think it's very fair to feel bad and be happy for her at the same time.
Yeah, it's a load. Weirdly enough, Stephanie Vaquer is a loaded topic. I have so many points to get across for that Stephanie Vaquer topic. But like you said, Marigold Summer Destiny, Noah Destination. We got some reviews flying in from us. We have to preview G1 Climax is starting up next week. We'll preview TNA Slammiversary is also next week. That's a sold out show, by the way, Scotty. So that hey, that's the power of Joe Hendry, baby.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
We should just have an audio cue that is just the claps.
You're actually probably right. That would be a good one. We could just do like a little bit and then every time.
Perfect. And then Yen1, and I think was that it? I think that's everything on our run sheet. And the AEW Owen Hart finals. So you didn't talk about that. We got to talk about the AEW Owen Hart finals because now we also got some matches for Wembley. So I think this is a massive show. I will say, if you're watching online, I found this out as I hit the go live button, Scotty, and I'm going to inform you about this now because I learned this just now. Apparently, according to StreamYard, when I hit go live, because the Count Out Twitter page is not a premium subscription on Twitter, we were not allowed to go live on that Twitter account. So we are not currently live on the Count Out Twitter account. They changed it, I guess, in the past week or so. So now if you're watching us on Scotty's Twitter or you're watching us on YouTube. So thank you for watching us. If you're missing out on the count out, we apologize. But I'm definitely going to get some links out, so hopefully you can be able to watch it on any of those various links. So apologies, I'm not going to pay for the Twitter X premium subscription. So that's just something that we are now going to lose because of this nonsense. And also, Scotty, I think you're a little slow on your end. If you want to drop off the call real quick and come back.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. I'll be right back. It's fine. I'm not needed anyways. But before this thing looks weird, I'll get rid of this real quick for a second.
Okay, I don't know what. Okay, well, fine, that works. All right, so yes, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So I think we'll start off nowhere better than the massive news week that has been Stephanie Vaquer, her sudden departure from CMLL and her sudden signing with the WWE. Literally, as Scotty said last week, it was, hey, we're talking about CMLL, Stephanie Vaquer. We're going to see her defend the title, or maybe lose it at Fantastic Mania USA. Hey, we'll see how it goes. And then in the matter of a week's time, she has not only left CMLL, she has not only dropped all of those future dates, she has signed seemingly with WWE. Shawn Michaels has tweeted that she's probably going to be in NXT. And as of last night, she made her formal in-ring debut for the WWE in Mexico City for the WWE live event tour in Mexico. So in the course of a week, Stephanie Vaquer went from a great, Mexican luchadores signing, a prospect, a great star, to a WWE newly signed talent. So Scotty, just initial thoughts right off the bat with Stephanie Vaquer signing with the WWE.
Good for her. That's been my take since it happened, or since it became rumored. She has been a superstar for the past year, right? Everyone got eyes on her in that first match with Mercedes Moné, and it hasn't, like, her star has only risen since then. It's just been going up and up and up. And, as a Chilean wrestler, she has done nothing but, I think, wow people with how good she is and how much she gets it, if that makes sense. And she's been really good before that Mercedes match. I want everyone to know that. I've talked about that a few times on this show. But this past year, you have seen her go from, this good wrestler in CML to one of the top potential signings in wrestling. And, I think there's different ways to look at this and the way it was handled. According to some fans, it was handled poorly. To others, it was handled, just as you kind of expect with WWE. And listen, here's my take on it all. How is Julia getting the handling she's getting comparatively to Stephanie Vaquer? Because Stephanie Vaquer was ripped, like, signed, ripped from everything immediately. Like, that was bang bang, kind of old school in terms of just how you sign someone. And the reason I see it that way, truthfully, is because, one, they are not partners with CMLL, obviously, in any way, shape, or form. AEW is. Two, they're trying to follow up her Forbidden Door praise as quickly as possible, which, again, makes a lot of sense. And three, she's just someone you want in the door as soon as possible. You want her to get in there, and it sucks for CMLL so much. They've put a lot of time into her. They've made her their top women's star, and in many ways, she delivered. She was double champion. She had dates all over the world representing CMLL. But listen, this was her dream. WWE was her dream. That's, if anyone's been following this story this week, whether it's been Dave talking about it, whether it's been literally anyone talking about it, because that's all people have talked about this week. You know that this has been her dream. And once contract offers were starting to be sent by both WWE and AEW, it was only a matter of time. She agreed with WWE. WWE said, presumably, all right, let's go. You can't do any of your dates, and that's that. That's just sometimes that's the business. It's not necessarily good business, but it's the business.
Yeah, I fully agree with what you're saying. That like for Stephanie Vaquer, it's a long running thing with her where it's like I want to be in WWE. It's been known in any interview she's done in the past several years. It's always been like, yeah, I would like to be in WWE. So this is something that has been on her, I guess you could say bucket list or dream board, if you will. And yeah, good on her. She got hot. She had a great match. Like we talked about how. I was thinking about it after the fact, after our Forbidden Door preview or review, and everyone else started talking about how the women's division looks a little bit better. And I thought to myself, I was like, it does look a little bit better. But one of the best matches on that show was Stephanie Vaquer versus Mercedes Moné. And I also feel like everyone sort of said that Stephanie Vaquer was the better part of that match. Not that Mercedes Moné was bad, but just that like Vaquer was so great that it was like, oh yeah, that's the person. And it's a loss to the wrestling world because obviously there's a massive amount of dates being pulled. CMLL, I have to imagine future AEW dates that are maybe getting negotiated. Rev Pro, she's getting pulled from dates. So I assume Stardom probably as well.
New Japan yesterday.
So she's already getting pulled from dates, and that sucks for the wrestling world, but now you get to see her in WWE in NXT. Is NXT the right spot? I don't know, but I think that's a conversation. That's one of the many conversations we're going to have. You brought up the dates, and my initial thought of the dates are the question of there is a typical thing where WWE sometimes allows it's the thing where sometimes WWE allows people to finish their dates and sometimes WWE does not allow them finish their dates. Seemingly, an example you gave in a certain way, Julia is someone that is still unsure if she's fully signed right now, but at the very least, she is finishing up dates in Marigold right now. Stephanie Vaquer has all these dates, and it was like, no, you have to be Saturday show in Mexico. We're debuting you there. So I wonder if it was sort of this thing of did WWE pull dates and say that like, no, you're super hot now. We need you now for this Mexico tour. So you have to come work, leave all those things you have to get now, or the deal's off. Or maybe it was Stephanie Vaquer simply being like, this is my only shot. I have to take this contract right now. And it sucks that I'm going to miss out on those dates, but this is where I want to be. So
I'd say it's both.
I think it's easily could be both. Because I think if WWE offered that, I think she was more than happy to agree to that.
Yeah. I think for me, like what I think some people are getting lost is like even if she was able to complete some dates, like the Rev Pro date was never happening, so just let that go. Like the dates that were a month or two away, those were never gonna be completed. Okay, like that's just part of this. Those were not gonna be lived through. The most I think anyone was hoping for was her, going to these shows, dropping her belts, and leaving. Like that's really all the dates you could have gotten out of her.
And that's probably what CMLL wanted to get out of her too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I feel really bad for CMLL in all of this. They got caught in a wrestling war. They didn't do anything wrong to get caught in this. But here's when AEW's also trying to sign her, there's a rush to get her in.
Yeah.
There's a rush to get her in at that point. She became such a hot commodity, like I said, over this past year. And that match at Forbidden Door just made her arguably the top commodity right now that is a free agent available to be signed. So
that's the other
again,
thing, right? Is that like if she signed to AEW, she still would have probably worked those dates, but she would be an AEW talent.
Yeah, that's just that's how partnerships work. That's when everyone started to know when things got pulled. It's like, oh, she's going to WWE, because if she was working with AEW, those wouldn't have changed. But I can't fault her for trying to achieve her dream. I just can't. I really just can't. And I understand WWE's mindset of, oh, we're in Mexico this weekend. We're going to get you on this show to introduce you first, because people are going to instantly click on that. They're going to instantly see you. They posted this video of her walking through the hallway or whatever. I was like, okay, this woman's like such a genuine superstar. It's like, how could anyone not have signed her before this? Like, I'm still shocked that WWE signed her a year ago after the first Mercedes match. You and me kind of I remember you and me talked about it, and that had been, I think it was the first time you'd seen her.
Correct.
First, and you were like, okay, like there's something here, and she's gonna be a big star. Well, here we are. She's a big star. This again, like we've said, there's so many different ways to look at this. But
I got post-it notes. I got post-it notes of topic points I'm gonna hit.
But like, if you look at it in the way that I do, I look at it in many ways, but the biggest way I look at it is, how could she pass up this deal?
Yeah, and you have to imagine she's making a lot of money. And I imagine
she's not the first person to abandon dates.
No, she's not. She won't be the last. Some chat comments here. Hello, Legends. Excited for the show and Eternal Up Pure. Hey, how's it going? Jeff Buchenhagen. Vaquer doesn't need NXT. Now she will jump to college dropouts. D1 college dropouts, Jeff, please. I do think that's kind of funny. Connor sort of agrees. Yeah, we'll see how she looks in WWE with 5 to 7 minute matches. There is already
probably great. 5-7 minutes. She'll probably be very good in those.
There's already
lightning matches.
Yeah. There's already matches floating out right now on YouTube of her first match of Isla Dawn in Mexico. So if you want to go check that, I think it's basically the full match, except like the very beginning gets clipped, but I don't think you're missing too much. But it's Stephanie Vaquer doing all of her basic stuff, and then Isla Dawn just kind of doing well with it. But it was it's Isla Dawn. Speaking about losing dates, Drizzy Drake in the chat. My only complaint that we aren't getting Mercedes versus Vaquer in Arena Mexico. Yeah, that was certainly teased, and that's a date. That's a thing not happening anymore, because that was definitely gonna probably happen. And now Mercedes has to find a different person to try to get into Arena Mexico with. I don't who's that going to be? I have no idea.
You can just put her in the Grand Prix thing.
Yeah, that's plausible. Or you now with Willow holding the title, you could also just do Willow versus Mercedes. That feels wrong, but you could.
That would be weird.
It would be weird. You could do it. I'm just saying you could do it. It just feels weird.
I guess if she wants, but I don't know if she wants to be CMLL Women's Champion.
Yeah,
it's a lot of dates. Well, not a lot of dates. Never mind. I don't defend that belt. My bad.
M in the chat. Who gets Roxanne's title, Vaquer or Julia? This actually brings up another topic point I have. I have so many topic points here.
I think it's open now.
I think it's open season. I want to talk about the NXT signings of late between the men's and the women's.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a lot of the men's signings have been a lot of like former AEW guys that are middling at best. No offense to fans of Ethan Page or Sean Spears or Brian Pillman Jr., but these aren't like top tier guys. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
The women is so far Stephanie Vaquer, one of the best signings best women wrestlers out of Mexico. Julia, one of the best women's Japanese wrestlers coming out of Japan. And not a signing, but they brought her in, and for a fact they're going to sign her when her contract's up. Jordynne Grace, who is one of the best women's wrestlers, not in AEW, not in WWE today.
Yep.
And I just wonder, like, distinctly about the distinction there between the men's and the women's rosters of that NXT, WWE are able to scoop up the best women in every other place, every other promotion. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you have any thoughts on? I don't really have a question here. I'm just sort of pointing at this distinction of, for men, we're going after like former AEW guys, maybe, and for women, it's like we're taking the best around the globe.
To be fair, you ignored Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga and guys like that.
That's also true. That's
those like
I would say Tama Tonga and Tonga are the middling guys of New Japan.
Yeah, but certain guys just got pushed to the top while others are in NXT. It just comes to availability, I think. Like, this is a company that they're trying to load up NXT ahead of the CW debut. And I think they've learned, especially with how Shawn Michaels books, is that their women's division is actually the most successful part of their brand. So, and especially after like the Braun Breakers and Carmelo Hayeses of the world and Ilya Dragunovs get called up, I think they've put even more emphasis on that division. But ultimately, for me, it just comes down to who's available and who wants to sign. And I think they see a chance to go get the best of the best in women's wrestling that are available.
Yeah.
And they're not hesitating. Like, those two are going to be. And listen, I have my own thoughts about those two being in NXT. It shouldn't be for long, but I understand the point of like.
I think it's the Dragon League year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just like, all right, we want you to learn our style real quick and then you can head on up. But they're both going to come in right at the CW debut. Like, that's going to make the show hot. Good for them. Like, that, it's the right things to do. It's funny, like, when you look at the men's signings compared to the women's signing, it's not even remotely close. They're signing, two women that have all the aura. We talk about that word all the time. People say it about some people that don't deserve that word. Those two do.
I'm pretty sure Brian Pillman Jr. has aura, Scotty. Please.
Brian Pillman Jr. has been signed for over a year.
Oh, has he? I've noticed.
I just checked and I was like, holy hell, he's been there that long. I forgot he was even there. I forgot he was even there until you said it. So speaks a lot to that. But when talking about those two, it's like, you see an opportunity, you get them. Period. And I just think that's, I don't think WWE values certain like men's wrestlers as much as we think they do. Because think about it, they've watched Ricochet walk out, they watched Dijak walk out. They had no problem not re-signing these guys. I think they value certain people more, and when it comes to women's talent, it's hard to argue against Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. It really is.
Well, I also want to point out, and I don't necessarily fully want to make this a WWE versus AEW war thing, but I am bringing this up here. Those are talent that I guess were available, that AEW did not get. In terms of the free agency war that is between these two companies, AEW wins a lot of the male talent, Ospreay, Okada. They did win Mercedes Moné. They won Bryan Danielson. They won Adam Cole. They're about to win Ricochet, but that's not really a free agent battle. They get all these other people, but then you still have like all these other women's talents, like a Julia, like a Stephanie Vaquer, that they were certainly certainly going after, but they just happened to both lose to WWE. And I just sort of think it's interesting that I don't know. Like, I don't know if that says something about AEW. I don't necessarily think it does. It just more so says, like, I think it's more so of like the Rossi stuff and then Stephanie Vaquer wanting to be in WWE. I don't necessarily think that says anything about AEW. Just there are other situations that play a bigger part in both of those losses.
This might get me yelled at, but I'll say this. I think right now, AEW needs to sign more known names than WWE does, because WWE is in star making mode.
Yeah,
because they're so hot. Like, almost doesn't matter who you are. If you get the machine behind you, it's working right now. While in AEW, they have to try really hard to get certain people over right now. So I think that's also part of it. It's like, you know, WWE doesn't have a problem going to get the Ethan Page or the Jacob Fatu is a star, and we all know this, but
Yeah.
you know, Jacob Fatu wasn't seen on the same level for a lot of people as Okada and Ospreay, and yet I see something about Jacob Fatu somehow like every week all of a sudden, and it's like, all right, well, shit.
I mean, he should have been signed years ago. And it's
Well, yes, he should have been, and I talked about it on the show that AEW should have signed him years ago, but that's neither here nor there. My point is, they are in star making mode, and I think they are willing to take certain chances, and that's why they're lowballing other people. Like that's why I want to say they lowballed Ospreay, but comparably they did not.
According to him, they certainly gave him less money.
They did not offer as much, and I think at the end of the day, that's part of it too. WWE is still like, oh, well, we have WrestleMania, and you'll be a bigger star here. That's still the mentality, and for some people, it's really going to work.
Yeah,
It's healthy. It's having two major companies is both healthy and unhealthy. It's healthy in the fact that wrestlers are getting paid more than ever. It's unhealthy in that it's just a monopoly. It's these two, and then everyone else is just like fighting for the scraps. But it's how it is right now. But I do think that comes into it. It's like you look at it, how these companies are moving right now. For WWE, it's a lot easier to make stars right now, and I think they know that. I do.
yeah.
And it's just the way the business has trended.
Now, people might be wondering, if you didn't know about the news, and people might be wondering, how was Stephanie Vaquer able to leave CMLL? Doesn't she have a contract? And the answer to that question is, yeah, she did. Lucha Blog made a great post about this, talking about how the CMLL contracts are weirdly loose, in the sense of, like, you have a contract, but if you get an offer from an American company, then they will allow you to leave. They would just like to. They see it sort of like as a graduation, is what he phrased it as. We saw this with Grand Metalik, Grand Metalik, Mascara Dorada years ago, and sort of this graduation, this idea, go out on top. That's probably what they wanted from Stephanie Vaquer, and it didn't happen, obviously. But they still allowed her to leave. And Lucha Blog also brought up this point of, if there's currently, like you said, that they were this pawn, this bidding war between WWE and AEW, CMLL was, is having these loose contracts where any of these companies might be able to just scoop up any wrestler they want in Mexico, in CMLL. That feels extremely dangerous for Mexico right now.
Absolutely. It's very dangerous. I still feel for CMLL, but contracts like that are risky. It's I don't. For example, I will bring this conversation into it because I recently went through something like this in the Joshi world. Obviously, the 6 actress girl wrestlers left right in Marigold, and people were like, "How did that happen? Like, how did you just walk away?" They didn't really have contracts. Like, they just had like, that's the thing with wrestling. It's like, if you have this loose loophole of sorts in a contract, it becomes very dangerous because companies are always looking to get better. And if you have wrestlers that are going to make them better, they're going to come for them. I don't think this is going to start a trend of a bunch of wrestlers in CML getting signed away, but still, it's dangerous that it's happened in the first place. Like, you look at CMLL, and I love CMLL. I don't think I'm gonna go watch, like, Dorada and Soberano Jr. and others be like picked up all of a sudden. I don't. Um, But the fact that that's a possibility is pretty scary, I'd say. It's just like the fact that can happen isn't great. But um what would this conversation be right now if it was AEW that signed her?
It would be, well, honestly, the conversation would be that AEW has poached another talent from a major.
Exactly. So like there was no conversation that was about to happen within this week or next week that was going to be good.
We're now at the point where anytime AEW signs someone from another company, it's a lose-lose situation for them. Either they don't sign them, they go to WWE, or they sign them and they just poach them from another company.
Yeah, this one would have been rough because like she's in the middle of this run and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to take you from their partner. Again, we talk about this all the time, but here's the thing. I can't blame AEW for going after someone that WWE is also going after at this point. If that's, it's fair game now. It's fair game. It's tough. And the other thing is, and I think we all have to take this into consideration. I've made my jokes about AEW poaching. I said in a preview the other day that we were talking about like the G1 or whatever. And I was like, yeah, they're just getting wrestlers ready to get signed by AEW. But my thing is here, it's like at the end of the day, if the wrestler wants to leave to go to one of these companies, that's them.
Yeah, we should almost, shouldn't we be okay with wrestlers wanting to move into another company, and seemingly get more money,
Yeah, like that's how
especially in the New Japan case where it's like the economy crashed so badly that Okada's making year one basically money.
Right. Like it's just that's kind of the way I have to look at it now because this is just how things work. I'll make my jokes, don't get me wrong. I will make my jokes. But it's the only way to look at it. Otherwise it's unfair at this stage.
Connor Houston in the chat, graduation, that's fine, but if you're CMLL, unless you're creating stars super fast, how does that help CMLL? I will push back on that, Connor, and say that like losing Stephanie Vaquer sucks, but like they have a crap ton of other stars in CMLL right now that is totally fine. I agree with Scotty in the sense of like, I don't think any of these companies are going to come in and look at all of this CMLL roster and just start scooping up people left and right. As other bullet point here is who has WWE scooped up out of Mexico in the past year or so. I can only think of two names, and that's Dragon Lee, who had a great trios match on AEW television against the Elite, teaming up with Andrade and Rush in that trios tournament in August, was then announced and then won the titles from FTR at AAA and announced that he was leaving in December of 2023, I want to say it was 2022, maybe. I think it was 2022. And then Stephanie Vaquer, who had a great match on Forbidden Door, AEW pay-per-view, right? That WWE may have someone watching Super Viernes every single Friday, but until they pop up on AEW television, showcase them as stars, showcase them as great talents, they're not leaving, right, to WWE. AEW might have a better idea of who's a great talent in CMLL, but they're also not scooping up anybody. Who have they scooped up from CMLL either? Who have they scooped up from AAA, right? I guess you could say Phoenix and Pentagon, right, in a way. You could argue, I guess, that they scooped them up at the beginning, but I don't really know if that's the case. Vikingo was never officially signed to the AEW, right? It was a bunch of handshake deals and working dates and stuff. But you have to imagine that they would get Vikingo if his contract's up with AAA. But they haven't scooped anybody out of these contracts. It's only been WWE, and it's only been twice. So it's been rare. But that does bring up the next point of, if you're CMLL, I think a bigger concern is showcasing these talents on AEW. For instance, for me, who is going to be on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, next month or whatever, defending the Ring of Honor TV title? CMLL wrestler Atlantis Jr. If he has a great showing, I would be concerned if I'm CMLL.
Yeah. I do think and Atlantis Jr. may not want to go. I think that's always part of it.
Sure,
his dad's in CMLL. That's long connection. Where I do see Connor is right is like the graduation thing is not a good thing to have. It's at all. Like, just kind of the accepting of a wrestler being scooped up is not ideal at all. Like,
it happens all the time in Joshi. I mean, Yuka Sakazaki.
well, that's because they want, like, that's just because they want to leave, though. Like, and
Yeah,
it
but
takes
you know what I mean.
time. Julia's contract had to expire before the WWE stuff happened. Like, so those contracts are more legitimate. I don't like that there's a capability of this just happening if you're CMLL. It's great for a wrestler like Stephanie Vaquer, but it's not ideal if, again, like you said, what if Atlantis Jr. is like, he's just the best person because he's the next person that's getting highlighted.
Yep.
You do think, should we hesitate with that? Like, listen, CMLL is going to be fine because Mystico ain't going anywhere. They have a lot of their core guys that just aren't going to leave. Like, they're the guys, but these young stars that they're building for the future, they can.
Yeah.
That's Stephanie Vaquer is one of them. If you were to name like the 5 most important wrestlers this year for CMLL, I think she's one of them comfortably. Especially for a worldwide audience. And
I also have to imagine that if a bunch of stars just get scooped up left and right from CMLL, they're going to be like, no, you have to work the rest of your TJ contract. I have to imagine they're going to change that rule.
Wouldn't be shocked if that's starting now. After all that, to be fair. And the other thing is, like, like for example, with Atlantis Jr., he speaks amazing English.
Yeah, shockingly, like oh my god, he spoke English and was like, holy crap, this guy's ready for American television.
Yeah, so like, we'll see. I hope for CMLL they're fine because CMLL is still hot. They're not gonna. CMLL is in a position where they won't be too hurt by Vaquer leaving. Thankfully for them. But it still does hurt their women's division. They have a lot of talent there still, but she was the one, so losing her is tough. Hopefully that's it though. I want it to be it. I don't want any more. I like CMLL the way it is.
Yeah. My last point here, Scotty, and I appreciate you for dealing with all my nonsense. Is the future, right? Okay, Stephanie Vaquer is now in WWE. What can this mean moving forward? Well, obviously, it's going to be NXT. Shawn Michaels tweeting that out makes it seem like it's going to be NXT. Yeah. We're going to have a Roxanne Perez challenge at one of these shows. Maybe it's at this. When do they start in CW? Is that October or something? September. Okay, so that's really around the corner. So if you wanted to, you can maybe do Stephanie Vaquer as a title challenger on the day 1 episode of CW. And then maybe Julia pops up as well. Ooh, day 1 in Atlanta. Blood and what is it? Bad Blood. We obviously that's going to happen. I also imagine it's going to be a somewhat similar deal to Dragon Lee, where she's keeping her name and all this stuff. They see her as a big talent. They're probably going to keep her NXT for a year and bump her up the main roster, so you can have stuff. But you also have to think about the potential future that is this sort of civil war that's happening in the wrestling world, right? We just saw, as we'll talk about in a moment, WWE working with and continuing to work with Noah out of Japan. We saw reports of them wanting to work with companies in Mexico. What other company in Mexico wants to work with WWE and WWE wants to work with them? Former partnership decades ago. That's AAA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Vaquer, from a WWE side, might have to be a big part of that partnership as a WWE talented and signed contracted wrestler working with AAA talents. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't necessarily love that. And there's one big reason I don't love that is, how do we bring this up? There's a podcast I was listening to, the Club Lucha podcast, and they went into detail about all of this, Scotty, where they talked about and we're not going to talk about it too much because we're not legal experts here, but they went in and talked about the Quattrero of it all, Stephanie Vaquer's former boyfriend, fiance, I don't remember, who basically tried to commit femicide on Stephanie Vaquer, and now out of fear for Stephanie Vaquer for her safety, the Mexican government has kept him in jail for the past, I think it's a year or so. I don't know how long this has been. And obviously, they also talked about how there's also the whole terribleness of Mexican wrestlers supporting Cuatrero and trying to get him free from jail and all these sort of things. A lot of people thought that, Rush supported Cuatrero and he's in AEW, so that's why Vaquer is not going to AEW. And Club Lucha did a really good job of explaining whereas that's still bad and that thought process is bad as well. AAA has way more wrestlers who support Cuatrero, whereas Rush just liked to post and reposted something on Instagram story, those AAA wrestlers went to actual protests in Mexico to support the release of Cuatrero, Stephanie Vaquer's former partner, who, like I said, tried to kill her. That is a company who has publicly made statements about, we don't support what happened to Stephanie Vaquer. Violence has no place in wrestling. It's a weird statement to make. Violence has no place in wrestling. They made public statements, but then you have a portion of the locker room that is supporting Cuatrero here. So now you have AAA wanting to work with WWE, and WWE want to work with them. You have Stephanie Vaquer going into WWE. Is she going to now have to work with a bunch of people that support and support the release of someone that tried to kill her? Also at the same breath, Cuatrero, if the rumors of now that she's out of Mexico, he can maybe be released from jail, he might get signed to AAA for all we know. How does that play out? There's a lot of sketchy legal politic bullshit that may happen in the next year or so that I think we're going to have to keep an eye on. I
don't think she'd be forced to work with AAA, so it wouldn't matter.
That's what I hope.
That's just the way I look at it. I think she could express to whoever her situation, and they're not going to be like, you have to go. I just don't see that happening. WWE is in the world of trying to look like the good guys currently, and they've been in that mode for a year now. So I just don't see that happening. Obviously, the working relationship and possibility is not great anyways for her, but I just don't see her having. Listen, they're valuing her as a big star. They're going to value her 100 times out of 100 over AAA. Okay?
Yeah.
That's just the way I look at it. Lucha Blog has tweeted about it. Rob Viper has tweeted about it all week. You go read them if you want to know more about all that, because they say it much better than we ever would.
They're more on their fingers more.
Club Lucha as well. Yeah, go there. That's where to learn that. I think for Stephanie Vaquer, she is not going to have to deal with something like that, at least in terms of having to go to wrestle in like a triple A. I don't think that's going to be happening. If anyone's going to get sent, it'd be like a Dragon Lee or something. If they're looking for if they're looking for a Hispanic star to sign, or not sign, but send for a show or something.
Yep.
It's not going to be
Mysterio's obviously as well.
It won't be Vaquer. I don't see that happening. Obviously, it's worth bringing up just because it's a reality that we currently live in with her, and
a partnership that is currently pending between AAA and WWE.
So it's worth talking about, but I am confidently saying I don't think they'll do that to her. I also don't think they'd send her. They don't send big names to companies they don't value. Have
you seen the N1 lineup?
They got AJ Styles, to be fair. So it's like, I mostly, that was a shot at TNA. Anyone here in North America, like the North America, South America, that doesn't matter to them. It's internationally where they, they're like, okay, we'll send you a bigger star. I don't think they're gonna send Stephanie Vaquer, especially after what she's dealt with. I I think by the time that relationship seemingly figures itself out, she's gonna be like way too busy being the top star in NXT. So hopefully it's smooth sailing for her. She deserves smooth sailing after all of that part of her life. Another reason why I'm happy for her just to go sign a big money deal. I would have said this with AEW too. Like, she deserves it. She went through hell and back this past year and a half, 2 years with all that. But she's also put in the best work of her career, and she's getting paid for it now. Well, she was already getting paid for it by CMLL, but she's getting paid more for it.
I have to imagine she's getting paid more.
I have to imagine she's getting paid more now. Yes. But that's a lot of Stephanie Vaquer talk. Obviously, it's not the end of the talk.
No.
If I'm WWE, I'm putting it on TV as soon as humanly possible.
I wouldn't be shocked if she shows up on NXT this Tuesday.
Even if you just do a teaser, right? If you want her to like figure out the WWE style, whatever, fine. But I'm putting something about her on there ASAP. You know, it's a big signing, and she put in the work to become that big signing.
Yeah, full honors to Stephanie Vaquer. Excited to see what she does next. Does this make me watch WWE? Helps. Helps. Julia coming in helps. It helps. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer at the top of that division against a bunch of D1 athletes is kind of entertaining for me.
Yeah,
because those two are very physical. So
just,
it's like,
just do it. Just make a tag team with the two of them and just have them crush a bunch of
everyone.
women.
They should just ride side by side as the North American and NXT champion. Doesn't matter which one wins. I don't care who wins either one. Just have them be a team. Just have them run roughshod over. That'd be actually very entertaining. It would make me watch. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I'll be totally down. But yeah, interesting stuff moving forward. I think very interesting stuff in terms of CMLL and their company and their partnerships with everybody moving forward. Obviously, there's concerns of like hurt partnerships. So AEW made the save there, so good on AEW to make sure to get some more trust from CMLL there. But yeah, This is a fascinating story with so many different angles, and yeah, good on Stephanie Vaquer for getting the payday, getting a few more pesos in the old bank account. Gotta imagine. So yeah, Stephanie Vaquer. Let's talk about Marigold right now. Let's talk about Marigold Summer Destiny.
I haven't done that much this week.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't talked about that much.
If I had, okay, 1 second. If I had to tell you how many hours I've put into this show this week, we're easily over 10. Like 10 hours of my life have been dedicated to this.
Before we move on, Roman Santos asked, "Did this NXT Women's Tag Team Champion still a thing?" No. As Carol Pura says, they merged the main roster tag titles. Let's bring them back for Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. Let's do it. But Marigold, Summer Destiny 2024, as Jeff Buchenhagen put it, the fields are golden over in Tokyo, Japan. Ryogoku Korakuen in attendance.
Korakuen? You just say Korakuen?
I did say Korakuen. I read it wrong. Ryogoku. Koki.
Just say Sumo Hall. Just say Sumo Hall. I can't say it, so I don't say it.
30,058 people is what the attendance is listed here on Cage Match. That feels pretty solid. I'll do some research to see if I can see what the comparisons were.
All right. No. I gotta give you what it is. This is a company that has not been running for 2 months yet. That just got over 3,000 people in the Sumo Hall show. The same day that Noah's running the Nippon Budokan right down the street. It's an accomplishment. They could have lied, by the way. They could have just lied with a bigger number, but they didn't. So I just want to point that out.
For attendance sake, they did a lot more than Bloodsport Bushido. I think we can all agree. The same building.
I watched both shows. They sure did.
Noah Wrestle Magic had announced attendance of 3,500, and that was the show with the main event being Kaito Kiyomiya defeating El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. for the GHC heavyweight title. A Sakura Genesis took place there at 6,600. So, yeah, it's on the lower end of this year. Tokyo Joshi Pro Grand Princess 24 was there as well, 2,349. on the lower end of shows, but as you said, for a brand new company, $3,000 in Sumo Hall feels pretty good.
Yeah, I would have loved to know what it would have been without that Nippon Budokan show, which got 4,200. So good day for wrestling in Japan when you look at it that way. That's nice to see. It's nice to see. It's not all about Bushiroad, folks.
It's not?
Okay, it's not all about New Japan. I can't even sit here and act like Stardom's making big numbers right now. It's not all about New Japan, folks.
Well, let's talk about the show. We'll start off with I guess I watched the United National title tournament, I guess you could say, and the Queen of Queen match. I didn't get to the main event. So I guess we'll start to the main event. Scotty, I get your thoughts on it. The Marigold World title match, Sarai, defeats Julia to win the title in 25 minutes and 48 seconds. She is the inaugural Marigold World Champion for this company.
I told you all. I said it last week. I've been saying it from, I can't say months. This company hasn't been around for months. I've been saying it for weeks. Sarai would be the first world champion. And I was right. I feel vindicated, and it's the right choice. This match was the Julia car crash.
Perfect.
And when I say the Julia car crash, I mean some of it's like, I don't know about that. And then some of it's like, oh yeah, here we go. Because you get the headbutts and you get the slaps and you get the forearms to the head, you get the suplexes. Julia matches are, I don't want to say an acquired taste, but they're an experience that you either like them or you hate them. There's really no in between. And if you've learned over the past 24 hours, some people like them, some people hate them. The thing about Julia and her future in WWE is that I just don't know how that's going to click, other than she has a superstar presence about her, which truthfully is all she needs to get in around WWE. The wrestling comes fourth out of their checklist, so like she'll be fine in that sense. But yeah, this was the Julia car crash. I don't necessarily think it went to the levels that most Sarai matches go to. Actually, I know they don't. I've seen them all this year, but it's very entertaining for a world title match. And in the end, Sarai got the win by attacking the injured hand/wrist, which the match was called off. It was over. Listen, Sarai is the best possible inaugural world champion I think any company could have right now, in terms of the excitement around her and what she's creating in Japan. She has been easily, for me, the best wrestler, and I'm very excited to see where she goes. And I'm happy they didn't book themselves into the thing of, oh, we have someone that's now going to NXT to be right. Like, that was my number one fear. I didn't want them to have to work around Julia. Now they avoid that. When Julia's around, you book her in whatever matches you want, but at least it doesn't involve your world title. That's very important.
Fully agree. I think that makes most sense. And I mentioned that last week of like, hey, it's weird that Julia is not in this title match and they're not making a title match. Maybe they're going to put the title on her. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they went with Sarai here. She's one of the best non-signed talents. I don't know if she's actually formally signed to Marigold.
She's not signed. No, she's not signed. She is free as a bird, as Julia once said, talking about herself.
I can't wait to see her show back up in Stardom. I'm sure that'll be fine.
So this is the best part, actually, of her being Marigold World Champion. Tomorrow, she's on the Sendai Girls show where Saori Ano is wrestling for the Wonder of Stardom title. So that's going to be the first match, this first show that has both those titles on it. And at the end of the month, Saraism is her and Natsupoi versus Takumi Roha and Azumi. That should be fun for them.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be able to walk on into the ring, walk onto the stage holding the Marigold World title around her waist. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Well, it's her show. She can do whatever the hell she wants. That's the beauty of it. If Stardom's going to allow talent to go places, that's what you're going to have to deal with now. It's very fun. It's very fun for me because I saw 2 tweets yesterday from Stardom connected talent, one being Saya Kanatani, the other being Taro Okada. They're feeling it right now. They're feeling the show, and you could tell. I told everyone this is the official start.
Yep.
This was the official start from Marigold, and boy, oh boy, they got a lot of momentum from this show.
Any thoughts on Julia, this being her probable last match in Japan? I mean, I'm sure she'll come back at some point.
It's not her last match.
Oh, she has more dates?
Yeah, she's on the calendar for the next month. So
perfect.
So she's locked in a little longer, though. I think they should announce a farewell tour. Like, I think it'd be very smart of them to announce. So, like, I'm sure she'll come back and do like a big pay-per-view here and there next year or something. But they should announce some sort of farewell house show tour. Sell a little extra tickets, you know. Though I think wrestling fans could probably figure it out. To be fair, that this is a farewell tour. She was very emotional after this match, to the point where I was like, "Is she just leaving now?" I was like, "Is this it?"
Stephanie Vaquer on Tuesday vibes, like, "Oh no, oh no."
Yeah, well, truly, because she released an interview earlier in the day that said like, "Come see me while I'm still here," and I was like, "Okay," and then she's crying after the match. I was like, is she just gone and no one knows? Like, but she's on the poster. They haven't announced next weekend's shows yet, but it seems like for now, I think she probably has until September, truthfully. If I had to guess, you know, because that's when the next PLE is. And it's always been the PLE match that they keep saying for Roxanne Perez. So that's when.
Yeah. I thought she was going to show up at Heatwave. Why didn't she show up at Heatwave?
She was a little hurt. She did legitimately just get cleared this past week. So
yeah. Well, speaking about people returning, Queen of Queen match, which is just a special name for a singles here. Io Sky defeats Utami Hayashishita in 23 minutes and 1 second. This match was probably 23. Maybe we just rounded down to 20 fully. I think Utami got a little offense in here, but about 20 minutes of Io Sky beating the other crap out of Utami Hayashishita.
Yeah, it was
brutal.
I have a lot of feelings about this match. Ultimately, the feeling is joy because Io is the reason I got into Joshi in the first place, and this was Io Shirai. This was not Io Sky.
I mentioned I had like some worries. I was like, maybe we won't get Io Shirai. We'll just get Io Sky. And no. Io Shirai.
Switch. It's incredible. It's so funny. Like the reactions yesterday were so funny. Everyone's like, why don't we get this Io in WWE? And I was like, here's the thing. Everyone already thinks she's amazing in WWE. Like WWE fans think she's incredible. Rightfully so, because she is. I think she's one of the best wrestlers there, the way she wrestles there. But the problem is she's like 5 times better than that, naturally. And you saw it on full display. Utami wanted to experience Io Shirai. And I think that's exactly what she got out of it. Io destroyed Utami for a lot of this. And Utami did have the fight back. And, you know, Utami took, probably 70% of the damage. But, you know, Utami still got the big spots. They got the crazy German from the top rope that landed so safely, if that makes sense. Like, when you go for a German suplex from the top rope, I don't expect them to land perfectly on their backs that she could do a bridge, but they did that. Obviously, you had the crazy Poison Rana from the top, which was like this delayed, scary, terrifying moment that actually ended up being probably safer than the normal Poison Rana. But it was
really not a high spot, but I really enjoyed very early in the match. Io Sky's like running Hurricane Rana, like she ran over as Utami was like going off the ropes. Io Sky was right there, just a very quick Hurricane Rana. I was like, that was awesome. That was so small, but like I love a small little spot like that.
The reason I have multiple feelings about this match is like obviously I loved it. Like seeing Io back was incredible, but I was also like, man, now she's gotta go back and be normal again. Like this sucks. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people like that kind of hit when it was over. I never doubted her because, as she said in her post-match presser, she's like, when I'm in Japan, I wrestle a different style. Like I can be a little bit more physical. I can do a little bit more things. In WWE, I can't do that. And some people are like, oh, so she's just saying WWE wrestlers are weak as shit. I was like, yeah, kind of. As she should. But like this, like I said, this was Io Shirai. And I watch her and I think to myself, is she the most naturally talented women's wrestler I've ever seen? And the answer is probably just the way she moves in the ring and flies and like that Hurricanrana spot you said. Like the fact that she just ran like full speed, hit that perfectly. It was just like, oh, all right. Like, you know, she just does these things and she doesn't do 50% of what she did in that match, in the WWE match, and yet she still stands out as one of the best there by far. I just think it's incredible what she's able to do. I'm sad that she's not here anymore. I want her in Japan full time. And I need that. I need that run, you know, like the run that I got taken away from. I got one match of it. I'll tell you what though, tough day to be Saya Kamatani. She tweeted something like on the
you mean the lone Queen's Quest member?
Yeah, she tweeted like something on the true Queen of Queen. I was like, oh, that's the Bushiroad talking. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is not the day. That's her.
That's I have to imagine this her angling to get a match. It's got
She's
there's no way politically she can do that, but
I said this in like the nicest way. She is the ex that can't let it go. You know, like her and Utami's relationship was always kind of like that to begin with. Utami never like visibly showed that care that Saya did. Now it's like, Saya, you took on Red for Utami. Like, come on, like let it go. You know, let it go. Well, Utami's living her life. And this is the start of Utami's story. As I said on the preview last week, this is now the start of her story. She has to overcome the shortcoming against Io. She even got her finisher on her.
Yeah.
And it kicked out, which I'm happy about because I want that damn finisher change, and I've always wanted that change. I need a new finisher for Utami. But such a great match. What a showing from Io. I'll miss Io. It was great to get her for this one match. It felt special. If anyone watched this in English commentary, I recommend switching to the Japanese, not because of the commentary, it's because the sound is better. So you can just hear like this fever pitch for the beginning of that match. It really felt special. And yeah, people are just so happy to see Io, much like myself.
And I thought Utami was great. I love the story of, I think very basically, never meet your idols, or else they'll beat the shit out of you and kick you so hard that they leave their footprint on your face.
Oh yeah, she had like a mark here, mark. I was like,
our neck as well.
Like, yeah,
real rough stuff. Yeah, great showing from Utami, taking that beating and just, you know, at a certain point just being like, all right, all right, this is too much. This is a little too much.
I like the idea that they were coming up with the match, and Utami's like, just beat the hell out of me. I've been dreaming of this for 6 years. Just beat the hell out of me. Yeah. And Io was like, all right, sure.
Yeah, well, it baby faces Utami even more, you know, in the sense of like, you know, people at a certain point I feel bad for Utami because she's getting the shit kicked out of her so much.
Io is such a showman too. Like she'd hit something and she'd be like, yeah, I just did that. Like, you know, whatever. She did her you know, her dive through the ropes where she like does a cross body almost instead of like a regular suicide dive. I haven't seen her do that in forever. Because I remember when she did that one time in NXT and like she almost killed someone. I was like, all right, they don't know how to catch. We know. Yeah. Remember that time that Tiffany Stratton jumped off like the top and no one off the ladder and no one caught her?
Well, the problem is they keep sending the Miz down there to coach these people. And I don't know why. I don't know why they keep sending it down there.
It's impressive how bad he is at catching. Not that this has anything to do with this show, but it is pretty impressive how bad he is.
Utami was really good. I did see several people online being like, Utami should go to WWE now. And WWE fans being like, "Oh, she's great. She should go to WWE." I don't know. I think this is one of those matches where it's like the first Stephanie Vaquer Mercedes one, where it's like everyone's probably going to think Io Sky is so great, and that's part of the reason. And until we get a second like Utami versus like, I don't know, Becky Lynch or whatever, then like Utami will get signed or whatever. But I think we're good here. Marigold, thankfully. But yeah, I thought it was great. Very good stuff.
WWE got their Marigold wrestler that they wanted. So
Io Sky was great. And I already know Scotty. Probably, I don't really know, but I have to imagine. I already know probably who I'm going to pitch to you as the ballot episode we do next year. I don't know where she would be at all, but hey, Io Sky's 34. She could probably.
She has a very interesting case. She's done it all.
I would probably put her in Japan.
Probably. Yeah, absolutely.
But Io Shirai, Io Sky on the ballot, Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame balloter, maybe.
If she's in Japan, she gets in. Like, I think automatically almost. Because I remind everyone, Tomohiro Ishii's in. And Io has accomplished a lot more than Tomohiro Ishii. In WWE, which matters to these voters.
Good point. These are all good points. And we'll save that for sometime next year.
Yeah, come on. We're trying to save content here. That's a next year conversation.
Yeah. So sign up for the patreon.com/CannotPod now to get ready for next year's episode on Io Sky. Oh man. Anyways, we'll do this in this order. We'll talk about the semifinal match first, the Miku Aono match versus Mirai, as that led into the Miku getting the win over Mirai. I think sort of a shock win. Both of us in the preview thought that she was certainly going to be losing and Mirai would get the win. Which I thought was a really solid outing between the two. And then of course her facing Bozilla and beating Bozilla in 10 minutes. To become the first ever Marigold United national champion. What do you think about these two matches?
I like surprises. Best thing in wrestling is when the expected almost doesn't. Sometimes the best thing in wrestling is when the expected thing does happen, and sometimes the best thing in wrestling is when it doesn't. This show had the perfect amount of unexpected things happening that I think excites a lot of people. I had been convinced Bozilla was probably winning, and if Bozilla wasn't winning, Mirai was winning, and if Mirai wasn't winning, I would have been shocked. Like that was the mindset. But Miku is someone that they want to make a big star, and she is becoming a big star very, very, very quickly. If you know how the Wonder of Stardom title is handled, Miku makes so much sense to be the first champion over the other two. Just the kind of wrestler that usually holds that belt, she kind of reads right into. I said last week, I don't think you beat the monster, but the way they did it here, I think it's fine. I do. Like, Bozilla destroyed her in every which way, but I like the idea that Bozilla is not experienced enough, and that's why she lost. Like, you saw her hit the big power bomb that was at the ropes, and that's why she lost. Like, things like that. It made Miku. It doesn't hurt Mirai either. Mirai wrestled for 25 minutes or whatever the frick it was, and just came up short. Mirai's already made. I like changes. Solid. The first match was solid. The second match was domination, but she was able to overcome. And by the end of it all, she faced chants of Mirai. Mirai had loud chants at the beginning of her match. Bozilla had loud chants at the beginning of her match. But by the end of it all, they were very happy for Miku. So this is very Rossi booking. Very Rossi booking. And it's probably going to work.
I do have concerns about, not only Bozilla losing, but Bozilla losing in less time than Mirai. Like, to me, that feels weird. There's definitely something that's weird about that Bozilla looked great in defeat, as she always does. But it's just the thing of, there's something about that does irk me a little bit. but it was to the point of making a star for this company.
That will be around, by the way.
That will certainly be around. And, we mentioned before that, if Bozilla didn't win here, you can easily bump her up to the world title and face Suri at any point.
For sure.
That being said, as Jeff Bugenhagen put in the chat, Sean Ross Sapp is apparently dropping news. Fightful is apparently dropping news about Bozilla and Marigold later today. And he says it's either really good or bad. I don't know. I'll ask you, Scotty. Do you have any thoughts of what that could be? Have you heard anything as a Fightful person? I don't mean to throw you under the bus and out scoop a scooper, but have you heard anything about Bozilla in any capacity?
I mostly just want to know, like, I haven't seen Sean say, he must have said on one of his shows then. The thing about
Corey Brennan, I think I see Corey Brennan tweeted something about how they're dropping something about Marigold news and includes Bozilla, and he tweeted that an hour ago.
Okay, well, my guess is it's going to be interest of some sort from WWE. Listen, I always thought Bozilla would get
shock among shocks.
It was like, for me, the always expected result of her being in Marigold. Like, she was gonna get instant eyes on her, and she is someone that very much wants to go to WWE. You can tell just if you see her socials or anything. So that's what I expect. When she lost, that was my first thought. Maybe they are trying to get her sooner, and it's different for Bozilla compared to like one of the Japanese talents. She's here for only an extended period of time, and then she will leave. So if they go and sign her, it makes sense. Especially with the Jazzy Gabber alpha female connection as well.
Yep.
It's natural. So that's what I'm expecting.
Someone that Jimmy desperately wanted to come in, and then just for whatever, I forget what the reason was, but just
things didn't work out. But I think she's always kept some sort of connection with them. I know she came in a few times, but not like full time, and they always wanted the full time. But that's what I would expect. That was my first thought when Bozilla lost. But
yeah,
I do think it benefits Marigold in the long run to put the belt on someone that is theirs.
Yep.
Especially for the inaugural champion.
Agreed.
This is the history book type thing. You're going to look back. Was the first champion the right champion? And I think it will be long term.
I'll keep an eye on Fightful and see whenever they post that stuff and see if we'll get some news about that. But yeah, we'll see how it is. And I do want to point out what Jeff Bugenhagen's comment was, because I fully agree with it. Mariah has flipped a switch in Marigold. I cannot get into her matches in Stardom. And Marigold, she has been fighting on top more and being way more aggressive. I fully agree with that comment, Jeff. I've said it before in the show. I never fully got into Mariah in Stardom. There would be moments where I'm like, yeah, I'm on her side. Moments where I'm like, I can't get into her. And flipping that switch in Marigold has been a lovely transition for me to see. Now, granted, I like Mariah more. I thought this match was better, obviously, than the match she had with
Sayori.
No, Manami. I really like that Manami match.
Manami.
Yeah, Komomo Manami.
Oh, the rookie.
Yes, yeah. I really like that match. This match, obviously, against Miku was way better, but I like that match more because I think I like the Mirai crushing younger people or unexperienced or just like being the dominant force more so than being sort of an equal footing as they sort of laid out here in the Miku match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's been rejuvenated. A completely different wrestler in Marigold, to the point where, and I've always been a Mariah fan. I've been very supportive of her for years now, but I think she's just taken the step that people were looking for her to take in Stardom, and it's very good to see for her moving forward. I think she is one of the workhorses, and she's taking on that role and not looking back, which is very good. She doesn't get hurt from losing. Here, especially because
they established her on equal planes and just happened to lose.
Yep. Yep, they've protected the style clash move that Miku does. I like when we protect finishers. It's a simple ask, but I like when we do that.
Rest of the show I was not able to watch yet, so I'll get you some quick thoughts. I know you've talked about this a bajillion times already, Scotty, but get some quick thoughts here. 6-man tag team match here. Nori, Shinobu Kandori, and Takako Inoue defeat Mai Sakurai and Nanae Takahashi, and now Ishikawa.
Yeah, that match was a lot of fun. It's a Legends match, so you go into expecting one thing or the other. Nori really stood out to me. This is the first time I've seen her. They should bring her in some sort of form more. She's 25 years old, throws a bunch of kicks. Pretty cool to me. She got the win here over Now. Now I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but Now has kind of become a fan favorite, and she was getting some of the loudest cheers on the show. So job well done there. It's okay for her to lose. That's kind of her thing. It's like she comes up short. So whenever that win comes, whenever that first pinfall win comes, it's gonna be a really, really cool moment for her.
A really solid undercard story right now.
Very much so. That's the one thing that that's the one thing I'm really appreciating is there's undercard stories. Certain other company doesn't have those. Not gonna name names.
Next up, Marigold Super Flyweight Title Tournament Final Match. Natsumi Shizuki defeat Misa Matsui. Jeff Buchenhagen in the chat says the high speed, quote unquote, please, Super Flyweight match might have been the second best match on the card. Do you agree?
Yes. This was great. So everyone expected this to just be high speed because it's super fly, and they're like, all right, we'll just be. They did high speed for maybe the first 5 minutes, and then it just became a fight. It became nasty and very physical. I was like, okay, if this is the difference between high speed and super fly, then it's going to really set the belt apart. And I think that was their goal, right? Yes, we will have high speed elements, but no, we are not copying that title exactly. And I think that really benefits them. I don't know if you've seen the clip yet of the Natsumi Shizuki Meteora, but you need to. You need to. Actually, we're getting your live reaction. I'll send it to you right now.
Perfect.
On Twitter. Yes, this is a live reaction of the clip. You don't have to play the sound necessarily, but I will send it to you.
I won't know how. I won't know how to play the sound. Actually, no, I could play the sound. Do I have access? No, I don't. I don't have it set up.
Anyways, I've sent it to you. You need to watch it because it's very entertaining. And I think with this belt, it's going to be really beneficial in the house shows. I think it's a belt that you could defend plenty on Korakins or whatever, and I think Shizuki is the perfect first champion because he watched the clip.
Yes, that's what I want. That is speed and intensity. Woo!
Woo! If you're wondering, Matsui was bleeding heavily from her mouth after that. So
good. She should be.
It was screwed up. When I saw that, I legitimately screamed in my chair. I was like, oh, literally what it says, oh my God. Like, that was incredible.
That's the Ryan Knightsey special right there. Speed and intensity. Woo!
Like when she took off, I was like, there's no way she's actually going to hit her, right? And she just did. I was like, oh, shit. But yeah, Shizuki's the perfect first champion. Matsui's now in the chase. And that's the beauty of this title. That is the story moving forward.
There is nothing I love more in wrestling than someone running full speed on another person. Nothing I love more.
I know. I knew you'd have appreciation for it.
God, I love it. Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki defeat Myla Grace and Zeta Steel in 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
This is fine. This got the job done. You're establishing Nozaki and Chiaki as the heel tag team, and it's working. It's getting over. Because they said on commentary, which I'll just say here, there should be an announcement regarding the tag belts in a week or two. So they're slowly building up all these teams, like you saw in the opener as well.
Well, then let's talk about that opener. Chiaki Goto and Kyoki Amare versus Kazuna Tanaka and Victoria Yuzuki. Time limit draw, 10 minutes.
Marigold has 2 future stars. Obviously, I've talked about Victoria Yuzuki ad nauseum, but Kazuna Tanaka is also really good, and they use this match to kind of highlight her. Both 19 years old. Obviously, Kazuna Tanaka, the daughter of famous Minoru Tanaka and Yumi Fukawa. Arceon connection there. Her mother was in Arceon. They also debuted another wrestler that'll be training that's from Arceon, a daughter of an Arceon wrestler. So Arceon nepotism, baby. Here we go. It's great though. I like that they have the Marigold's making signings, but they're all future. Like they're signing all young talent. Yeah, which is good.
But also kind of makes sense, right? Because, let's just say in a year or so, 6 months from now, let's just say if some more contracts come up, then those are the people you're bringing in. You don't need to sign right now investment talent. Right. Or sorry, you don't need to sign big stars from other these companies because also, I mean, what other big stars exist?
Right.
Like Posh, maybe? Maybe like there's some.
Unless you're trying, if you're trying to sign a big freelancer or someone from another company, but like I don't think Rossi's into that. Rossi'd rather take young talent, make it bigger. That's always his challenge. That's always the challenge, is making new stars. We've seen it time and time and time again. He's doing it right now. And I think that's going to benefit Marigold more than anything because listen, I watched this show and I was like, I know some of that Stardom roster watched this show, and I know some of them probably just made their decision on if they're staying or not, because there's just a feeling here that they probably aren't feeling right now. But there's still a lot of time. But you're absolutely right in terms of
not signing big name talent because there might be some coming in 6 months.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's totally fair. The other singles match here was Rhea Seto defeating Kamomo Minami in 8 minutes and 23 seconds. That's the other person you were talking about. Also, the connection there.
Another rookie edition. I will just say quickly about announcements. There were 2 on this show.
Perfect.
They did announce First Dream 2025. That will be on January 3rd. So that's their big That's their big Wrestle Kingdom week show, big pay-per-view. And yes, thank you for asking. Stardom does have a pay-per-view that day at the same. I don't know if it's at the same exact time, but it's probably pretty damn close. But listen,
begrudgingly add that to the calendar.
They had to have one. Every company has a big show that 2-week span.
So on that Sunday, we have to at least have right now, Sunday, December 29th, which I don't even know if we'll be recording. Maybe. Well, no, we'll probably record that one. I think.
December 29th. Oh, that's Queendom Day.
Yeah, that's Queendom. We'll be recording that day supposedly because Christmas is on the 25th, which is a Wednesday. So I'll probably be back. World's End is the Saturday prior, the 28th, and we'll be previewing. You said Stardom has another show. Marigold has a show. New Japan has a show. Wrestle Dynasty is also happening. Noah will probably have a show. Oh yeah, they definitely have a show. January 1st. So 3-hour episode coming down the pipe. I already know that's happening. But yeah, so Marigold, I think a successful show nonetheless.
I forgot the other.
Oh yes, the second announcement.
Dream Star Grand Prix. If you didn't have enough tournaments, you got another one, baby. Thankfully for them, they decided to start theirs the day of the 5-star final. So at least it's
Thank God.
At least it's avoiding the there's like a 2-3 week span in August where I'm like, I want to die.
And now it's a 6-week span.
Well, that's just weekends though. That'll be easy. Like Stardom's is not. Stardom's is not. The G1 is not. I think the N1 is weekends only.
It's typically weekends. I think it's like the first couple shows might be some weekdays, but at a certain point, it becomes weekends pretty much. I'll have to see the schedule because I believe they announced the schedule as well, which I guess that's the transition into Noah Destination. And since we're already talking about it, I think we'll just talk about the N1 announcements. So they during the show they announced the N1 tournament participants.
They fumbled the bag.
And they fumbled the bag, according to Scotty. Let's find out how they fumbled it, according to Scotty. We have 2 blocks of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 8 people. So I got confused because I wrote.
I like that you kept counting.
I got very confused. 2 blocks of 8 people. I believe they announced 16 people total. Yes, that's 2 times 8. Good job, Scotty.
Doing a lot of math this week.
N1 announcement block A. It's going to be Kaito Kiyomiya, Masa Kiyomiya,
yeah,
Jack Morris,
yeah,
Go Shiozaki,
yeah,
Dragon Bane,
yeah,
Rohei Oiwa,
yeah,
NXT's Josh Briggs.
Fuck.
And of course, everyone's favorite wrestler, Dragon Gate's Luis Monte. Not Louise. Yeah. Luis Monte.
That's a pretty good block outside of Josh Briggs.
Well, I think it's a really good it's definitely the best block, 100%.
Well, yeah.
100%. I think Josh Briggs is not you don't love to see that. Good. No. He was pretty good in Evolve. I really liked Josh Briggs in Evolve before he went over to NXT.
That's so long ago.
I know. That was so long ago. That's the problem. But if he can bring any of that back, then there could be something here. And he's with enough people where I think he could certainly do well. If I'm circling anything on this block, it's 100% Kaito Kiyomiya versus Masa Kiyomiya. It's 1000% Kaito Kiyomiya versus Jack Morris. I'm circling Shiozaki Kiyomiya, of course. I'm circling Kiyomiya Oiwa, of course. I'm going to circle... Luis Monte, I don't think is the champion anymore. So I'm not going to circle that one. I'm going to circle... I'm going to circle...
Every Kaito match.
Pretty much every Kaito match. I'm going to probably circle Josh Briggs versus Luis Monte just simply because the politics of that just seem fun to me. You have to watch Josh Briggs is getting some wins. And is Luis Monte going to get the win? Probably not over Josh Briggs. I'm probably going to circle Dragon Bane Jack Morris. I'm going to circle Oiwa and Jack Morris. Oiwa and Kiyomiya I'll probably circle as well.
Guy like me, circling all the Oiwa matches. You kidding me? That's the best young star that New Japan's have, and they don't even got him. Thank God.
You know how everyone talked about... Here's the take. Everyone talked about how Shota Umino looks like Tanahashi? Oiwa is Tanahashi.
I like that.
One's a poser.
One's a poser, and one's just him.
And he's got the fucking flags coming off of his triceps.
I think. By the way, this isn't our official preview, but I don't know if we're gonna have one anyways. I'm sure we will, but that's a few weeks away.
Yeah, we got
Oiwa.
Talk about something, but
Oiwa probably isn't winning the tournament now, but he sure is beating Kaito to get that title match. Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's some different aspects that are very interesting, but we'll talk about that more in the preview. Block B, you have Kano.
Yeah. Sorry.
But sorry, you missed up on your thing. Manabu Soya.
He looks weird.
The blonde look.
Blonde and ripped.
Blonde. Yeah, I'm into it.
That's not the Manabu Soya I knew. He used to have red hair.
I'm not against it.
I'll give him a yeah.
He's solid. Solid. Yeah. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
Yeah.
Titus Alexander.
I think it's a good spot for him.
Great spot for him. I would love it to be in Block A, but I think Block B, I think he's going to be really good.
Would pay cash for him to switch with Josh Briggs.
Sure. Sure. I think we all agree. To see an NXT on NXT match, I think we can all agree. Alpha Wolf.
Yeah.
I wrote down Yoichi, but no longer that. Yoshiki Inamura.
Oh, shout out to the big
Grand
He's
opening,
really good.
grand closing of Yoichi and Noah.
Hell of a run. Hell of a run.
Ulka Sasaki.
Sure. He's pretty. He's getting better.
Correct. He is certainly
This
getting
will be
better.
good for him. This will be good for him.
Yes,
He was in the other block as well.
Yeah, but him versus Kano. There's not a lot of people that I think he could. My worry with him is that I don't think there's a lot of people in here that I like. He's going to learn from Kano and Soya, but like Alpha Wolf is going to be so different.
Mm-hmm. I think Yoichi could be Yoshiki Inamura could be a good match for him though.
But he's still like new and needs a really good tournament as well. So I'm like worried.
They just have to hit each other really hard.
Titus Alexander is still very new. I don't think he's going to learn anything.
This is a very new block.
Yes, it's interesting to that point, but it's there are worries there. Oh,
a lot of people trying to prove themselves.
We also have, like every year in the N1, a random ass person. NXT's Tavion Heights.
No idea who this guy is.
No,
I saw the name.
This guy is.
Saw the name, read it like 5 times. Was like, I don't think this is a real person.
This guy has wrestled 60 matches. His last match, televised match, was against Damon Kemp, and it was less than 3 minutes. Before that, he was in a battle royal. Before that, he lost to Eddie Thorpe in 4 minutes. And then he's been on NXT Level Up a lot. He has a group. He's part of the No Quarter Catch crew with Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey. He's going to pop up in TNA, I think, this upcoming Thursday. So
he seems kind of sick, though. Hold on. Hear me out here.
You're getting.
I'm going to talk him up right now. I'm going to make people convinced that this is the new Jack Morris of Noah.
Our N1 tradition is hyping up the random ass people.
Greco-Roman wrestler. He won the bronze medal in the 2021 World Wrestling Championships. At the 2020 Pan American Wrestling Championships, he won the gold medal. So this guy might be kind of scrappy, a little grappling master here. I don't know. We'll see. But look, I'll tell you what, Ryan. I am intrigued by a guy. Like, when the WWE relationship started with the Japanese companies, a lot of people said, oh, maybe like they'll do the excursion type thing, right? They'll send, well, this is it. I mean, it's a gigantic tournament, but this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Tavion Heights can just become a guy, or maybe he doesn't, but I don't know. We'll see.
They obviously are trying to push these guys a lot. I mean, I would think like someone like Charlie Dempsey makes more sense in this sort of spot, but you're giving it to Tavion Heights. I'm looking over on his Twitter right now, and I'm just seeing the same GIF of him doing 2 suplexes over and over again. They look great. They're very explosive. He looks like a big dude, so that's very nice. He's probably one of the bigger opponents in the N1. He has an explosive powerhouse style, so could be something. I don't know. I just don't know.
We like uncertainty sometimes. I don't know. I'm interested.
Yeah. I'm not interested, I guess. Is the best thing. Let's talk about Noah Destination. They had the pre-show with a bunch of matches on it. You can skip all those. You can skip all those.
They had the pre-show with a bunch of matches on it.
We'll start off with Kano defeat Yuji Nagata in 12 minutes and 5 seconds. I thought this was a pretty good match. I really liked it. Kano obviously wins with not obviously, he doesn't do it all the time, but he wins of the Moonsault Stomp. He has a special name for it, but I don't remember. And I thought Yuji Nagata looked pretty solid in here, but Kano, I thought, real good. We talked about it in the preview. It would make sense fully for Kano to get the win here. Kind of had to. He's been losing a lot. And Yuji Nagata probably walking away with a broken rib. Gotta imagine.
Yeah. This was good. It's funny seeing Kanell just in like random matches. I get enjoyment out of that. But yeah, I have no problem with this. This is like the type of match I want to see them do on these shows. Is like just a cool singles match.
Yeah.
Nagata's still good.
Nagata's still good. Have him pop up in MLW. 6-man tag team match. Good looking guys versus good looking guys. Jake Lee, Tadasuke, and Yohei defeat Anthony Green, Jack Morris, and LJ Cleary. The match was pretty good. I thought Jack Morris was sort of teasing the sort of dissension idea in good looking guys. But it was Jake Lee that got the win, I believe, pinning LJ Cleary. Following the match, Kaito comes out and offers Jake Lee a spot in the Bullet Club War Dogs. And
by the way, I got the Mozilla thing.
Okay, we'll say it in a moment. Well, because we have to. We're in the middle of Jake Lee talk, Scotty. You know we got to.
I gotta lock in.
Yeah. So he takes the shirt, the Bullet Club War Dogs shirt from Kaito, choke slams Jack Morris, and says, or I don't forget the order, whatever. Choke slams Jack Morris and says goodbye Noah, and then leaves with Kaito. Obviously, Jake Lee popping up in the G1 Climax this Saturday. This feels like the formal goodbye of Jake Lee and Noah. He's now part of Bullet Club War Dogs. Yeah. The charisma machine, Jake Lee and Bullet Club War Dogs. And Jack Morris, I have to imagine if they're going to continue the unit, is probably going to be the leader of good looking guys. Doesn't look great on the way out, but that's fine. That's the Jake Lee style, baby.
I can't wait for you to review Sonata versus Jake Lee.
I am going to
kill yourself.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
I saw people say like Jake Lee's like Sonata, and I was like, no. I was like, no.
Hold on. Which is worse? Which
Jake
match?
Lee.
Oh yeah,
Jake Lee.
We're gonna do this now. Fuck, marry, kill. Sonata, Jake Lee, Evil.
Oh well, I'm obviously marrying Evil. Killing Jake Lee. Killing Jake Lee.
All right.
Undisputed killing Jake Lee. 10 times out of 10. Dude stinks. New Japan's answers to losing Okada and Ospreay all these months later, bringing in Jake Lee. Listen, I gotta give Jake Lee credit. You know,
he's like losing up or something. I don't know how.
He left All Japan with the hopes of going to New Japan. They didn't want him, so he goes to Noah. Noah pushes him. He stinks, but he did enough.
He stinks so badly. Attendance goes down, and like everything about the company just is awful.
Yeah, company gets better when he's not featured anymore. Listen, this is a big day for Noah. They won tremendously. I never got to see him again in Noah. New Japan, they lost again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is bad. And he's joining the worst faction. Oh man.
Well, not only like he's joining the War Dogs, but he is a charisma vacuum. And he's joining a faction that is chock full of charisma. And I just do not see how this is going to work at all. Like House of Torture, I get. This, War Dogs, I don't know, man. I do not know how this is going to come out. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. All right. Scotty, you got the Bozilla stuff? No, it's not going to be fine. Oh, you got the Bozilla stuff?
Yeah,
I see that there's also other news beyond Bozilla, but what else? What do you got?
Well, if anyone figured out, Kairu's backstage because she posted pictures, but that was known. Isaiah Steele is exiting the promotion next month. Mila Grace and Bozilla are there till 2025. That's it.
Okay.
Which I believe Dave also reported.
So Zaya Steele is finishing up with her tour, and Miley Grace.
Yeah, I think the Zeta Steele part is the most notable. Is that she's the one that's not sticking.
She was the MLW person, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. But Bozilla is, so victory.
That's a dub. That's a dub.
Dub.
Surrey versus Bozilla. Yeah, let's go, baby.
All right, what's next?
0-1 World Heavyweight Title match. Go Shiozaki finally is able to defeat Akitoshi Saito to become the new
big ass belt.
0-1 World Heavyweight Title match. I thought it was a really nice 15-minute match. I didn't like it as much as their other matches.
30-minute
draw. I think they had. Did they have? I think they had 2, right?
I think they wrestled like 100 times. Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure.
No, like this recently. So
yes,
I think you're right.
I think your time limit draw is definitely what I'm thinking of. I didn't like it as much as that, but I still thought it was really solid.
Some people didn't like the draw. I was like, they just beat the fuck out. That was great.
It was 30 minutes of beating the shit out of each other. And this was 15 minutes of beating the shit out of each other, but not as, I don't know, there's not as much or something. I don't know what it was.
It was the undercard of it all, I think.
Go Shiozaki gets the win, obviously. So another world title for
Shiozaki rules. You know, you and me talked about this last year heading into the N1, like, oh, we're kind of worried about Go. Just turn back the clock all of a sudden. Like, he's healthy now, and you can tell he's eased his style more.
Yep.
Where he just
helped.
Does the old man beat the piss out of his opponent. He gets beat up.
He's the old veteran. He's the old veteran now.
And it's good. It's good stuff. Love Go. And I think Saito said he will be retiring soon. He's doing a retirement tour here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I had a guess of where Saito is gonna go. I thought, you know, what if he popped up in All Japan? The Saito brothers and Nukuri Doi, also known as Mr. Saito, because I think Saito is his mother's maiden name. They talked about like, oh, we have more. You think we're the only Saito? And I saw Saito lose here. I was like, what if he's going to All Japan?
Yeah. No, I think he's just doing a little retirement tour here.
Okay.
Maybe that's part of it.
Could be part of it. Saito versus who in All Japan would be fun? I don't know. Saito. I'll just do a Saito versus Yuma Iwagi like title defense, and then you're not Yuma Iwagi. Anzai, thank you. Yeah. Which we didn't have All Japan on the run sheet, but they had some obviously title matches as well. But two packed. GHC national title match. Oka Sasaki defeats Hayata in 12 minutes and 5 seconds. I thought this was well worked but boring.
That's Hayata.
And Sasaki's still very new, so I'm not giving it fully on him. I mean, this was his 48th match.
I think they made the right choice, though.
Agreed. I mean,
they try to make a guy.
It seemed to be working right now. I don't really know, but
he seems like a guy that would really benefit from teaming with like Kano or something.
Sure, I can see that.
Learning. I think tag.
Well, they're going to be in the same block for the N1.
That'll be a good match for him. I like him. I like the idea of where he could go. But we'll see.
I agree. We will see. And Hayata do something else. GHC Junior Heavyweight Title match. Hayata, don't do this. Amakusa defeats Daga in 16 minutes and 21 seconds. This was all we all saw this coming. Daga losing the titles. He had a really solid.
Crowd was hot.
Crowd was super hot. I thought this match was pretty good, really good.
Yeah.
I thought Daga looked really good in here. Amakusa still looked very good. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say. I just solid pro wrestling match.
It really, yeah, it hit all the goals. Moxa looks good. Now he's back. Makes sense to give him the belt.
And
I
mean, Daga, they do with Daga.
Yeah, me too. I don't want him to get lost or go away either. He's been good in Noah. I don't think he's going to go away. I think he's pretty committed to this Japan thing anyways. But he's quite good. So I'm happy to have him. I think Noah is too. I think it's worked out really well for it's worked for both sides. He really locked it down junior division wise with Amakusa Hurt. So
Yeah.
I think they take note of that, and yeah, it was a good match.
And easily some of the best work of Taga's career. Easily.
For sure. For sure.
Tag team match. El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. and Galena Del Mal defeat Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane. This match freaking ruled, dude.
By the way, this is where they dropped the ball.
Where's
Galeno Del Mal in my N1?
I see.
What the hell are we doing? I watched Galeno Del Mal here, and I had to go through like 7 shirts. I ripped so many of them. And I was like, come on, man. Where is he? This man is 22 years old and is a freak of nature.
You gotta lock this guy down. You can't. You got Tevion Heights in here? No.
You kidding me?
Tevion Heights versus Galena Del Mal. Hold on.
Hold on. Now we're talking.
Alpha Wolf versus Galena Del Mal. All right. Soya versus Galena Del Mal. Hold on.
Part of Noah's resurgence has been the lucha twist that they've put on their roster. And the major part of that has been Alpha Wolf, Dragonbane, and of course El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
And I'll give not really lucha per se, but I'll give a little shout
out. And Daga.
Yeah,
I'll give Daga as well. And it's something they need to keep going with. I know Wagner is a free agent at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And I know
disappointing.
Very disappointing. And I know Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf are guys they're starting to get behind. I would do anything to keep Wagner and keep this trio locked in for the foreseeable future because it adds so much to the product.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that Jake Lee money is freed up and you just give it all to Wagner. But man, give some to Galeno too, please.
Yeah.
This guy is the man. I freaking love him. He did a freaking tope con hilo and landed on his freaking feet. This guy's like 300 something pounds and he's just like insane.
297, 6'5", 22 years old. He's been wrestling for 5 years.
He hasn't even got near his like potential. That's the crazy thing.
No.
This dude rocks. He just started running back and forth to do a splash. And I was like, I have no idea what you're going to do, but I'm so long. They just did splash.
Running back and forth. And then Dr.
Wagner was just like
doing laps around him.
I love that.
I love the very end of the match where he just does a running splash onto, I think it was Dragonbane on the outside. And the whole crowd like gasps and just goes quiet because I'm sure they thought Dragonbane died. It was so solid. And then obviously Dr. Wagner Jr. so great in this. There were some things, some hiccups, some stuff in there.
They just go so fast. You know what's gonna happen. It's the lucha of it all.
These guys, I think Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane are some of the best tag teams of this year. And they are pretty much there. I think Dr. Wagner Jr., El Hijo, Dr. Wagner Jr. is there. And Galeno Del Mal is still becoming a really great wrestler. So there needs
more more matches like this.
Yeah, he has elements there where like he's nailing it, but there were some chemistry stuff that like did get some hiccups in here and there. But you're completely right. He needs more stuff like this. He needs the N1. He needs these sort of things to get better because this guy's already great and the potential is there. He's 22 freaking years old. The moment he's able to show out more is what he needs.
I don't even he doesn't even have to
make a big boy decision.
It's funny because you and me talked about this recently. We're kind of tired of the big monster that does stuff, but I don't know. It's the way Galeno hits things that's it's right. He's a monster that can fly, but at the same time, everything has a certain impact to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That dive to the floor where he squashed Dragonbane, that had an impact to it. His moves are still big man based almost, except for the tope. That's not big man based at all.
Yeah.
Also, I love the finish.
Big man based.
Where El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. threw Alpha Wolf so high in the air that he turned for the Wagner driver. Like usually he lands on his head, and he like landed on his. It was crazy.
Yeah.
He like turned so much, and he got so high. I was like, you know what? It ruled. I don't care.
It looked even better.
Yeah. Watch this. It's funny. I was watching this show. I was like, man, I really watching a lot of wrestling for me lately has been a chore, and up until this point, it felt like a chore. And then this match happened. I was like, this is why we do this.
Roddy, I had written down on a Post-it, why am I not watching Noah more?
Yeah.
Why am I spending so much time watching New Japan when it is not as good right now? When Noah has had show after show after show of great stuff lately.
Ring Post Radio. We are Noah. New Japan who?
Whom? Yeah, it's just I don't understand why I'm not watching more Noah, because like this like even the undercard. Like I liked pretty much all of the undercard as well. Kano, Yuji Nagata I thought was really solid. The 6-man tag GLG was really solid. Saito Shiozaki was not as good as I saw otherwise, but still very good here. Hayata Okosasaki, the work was fine, but it was boring, but that's mainly on Hayata. Amakusa Daga was really good. This is really good. The 2 matches we're about to talk about are great. I don't understand why I'm not I'm enjoying everything that's happening on this card. Why am I not watching more Noah? It's also super easy to watch on Wrestle Universe. They have apps. I literally have an app on my phone that I can watch Wrestle Universe on. New Japan doesn't have that.
Anything better? Well, New Japan does have an app.
Oh, they have it now. Sure.
Is there anything better than Wrestling Universe? No. Second, when it comes to Noah, they're doing what I think New Japan could really do. They have a CMLL relationship after all, but they're not doing it. This lucha influence, man. When we weren't loving Noah last year, we still were talking about Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf and how good they were. And that is continuing to this year. And Wagner, obviously. Wagner was like the highlight of last year for Noah because of his run. And now like everything else is caught up. Kaito Kiyomiya is amazing. I can feel the Mutoism when when it runs through him. I think Pro Wrestling Love legitimately runs through that man's veins now, because when he like gets into that trance of like, yeah, I'm like, holy shit, this guy is all right.
It's those moments. Well, I guess we'll just talk about it now. The GHC heavyweight title match main event. Kaito Kiyomiya defeats Yoichi in 25 minutes.
Just skip the match.
I know. We'll get back to it.
Okay.
But we're already talking about Kaito.
You don't want none.
I think Kaito Kiyomiya is the best Muto cosplayer, because like you just said, when he does that, he doesn't feel like he's cosplaying Muto. It feels like the energy is flowing. Like it's he convinces me every single
time. He goes into a trance.
Yeah, his eyes are like, yeah.
It's funny. On my live stream yesterday, for some reason, it was a Marigold live stream, and someone asked me to do the Muto thing, so they must have been a Ring Post Radio watcher. That was my first thing, and I felt like Kaito. I haven't seen the match yet, and I just did the. Yeah! I just think that, and it's why Noah's good. They have the best pure wrestler today. So,
he's found something in the past year with Okada that he's now transferring Okada and Muto out of his body onto these opponents.
Yeah! But he has he has mixed like the Muto and Okada stuff, and it's made it his own, and he's great for it.
Yes.
Man, this guy fires me the frick up. Yeah, this guy rules. Yeah. He had like 75 Shining Wizards in this match. They're all different.
Popped him up, and he had a Shining Wizard.
That ruled. Yoichi, by the way, I know he's now Yoshiki Inamura, but for this match, he was Yoichi.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that he's like a world title challenger now. We had talked about it with Noah. One of our big problems with Noah last year was that they just do nothing with this guy. He's
Yeah.
just the powerhouse that like loses every match.
Yep.
Listen, yes, he lost, and I didn't think he should have won to begin with, because, but like he had a great performance and like he looked like a beast.
Yes,
like
great.
There was so many moments where he popped up, and I thought this was the best match of the show. I know a lot of people loved.
I'm so glad you said that.
The Marufuji Styles match.
This is the best match of the show. I saw in Cage Match. It was rated less. Oh, now it's the same rating. It was rated less than
it's slowly
Styles
changing.
Fuji. And then I saw it change, and I thought to myself, "Yeah, that's correct, baby. This is a better match."
It was like, and we'll talk about Styles versus Marufuji, which I thought was way better than I expected, because I just. We have to have a conversation about AJ Styles. But Kaito and these two went out with a mission, and they delivered. They did Noah did the right thing putting them in the main event. They could have, and I think AJ and Marufuji, they had a great match that would have been fine with the main event compared to Marufuji and Kota Ibushi. But they did the right thing because you want Kaito in the main events. That's my takeaway. And then like him beating, and I love his modified Shining Wizard where he like grabs the head and just brings it into his knee. I was like, yeah, that rules. That's the pro wrestling love flowing through him.
There's an additional intensity to
it's better than the normal one for me. Though I am someone that used to love when Muto would just span the shit out of those in his old age. Dude can barely move, but just every time.
But he's added an intensity to it, and by what he was doing over here, jumping off the ropes, doing a super one, getting popped up in the air and hitting it, he's added an out of nowhere quality to the
movie. He's got the agility of young Muto. And he's mixed it with like intensity of like the Okada feud that he found. I don't know. He's just hitting on all. He's just awesome.
Yeah,
this dude rocks.
He's on a run.
This dude rocks. What can I say? He's the right champion for Noah right now. He's the right champion. He should not lose for a very long time. After this, when they had all the N1 people like line up, I was like, all right, give me the Go match, give me the Oewa match, give me the Masakita Miya match. I need it.
I love him showing up against all the Block B people too, and I was like, you're not facing any of these guys.
You're not facing them. Also, Noah also benefits from him not being in the G1 and being in the N1 this year because it just makes that tournament 10 times better. They traded Kaito for Jake Lee. The greatest trade of all time. It's so funny. People are like, I saw some people say like, you had the chance to just take Kaito and you didn't. And now you have Jake Lee. I was like, first, don't think they had the chance to take Kaito. Second, they treated him like shit. They made him lose to Hikuleo, so he shouldn't have signed. And three, Noah might have their shit together. Let's just have. Can we just have that for a second? They lost Jake Lee and they have Kaito Kiyomiya. This is a good day.
Who coming out of a real rough period working with New Japan has been like he took all those losses and learned from all of them. Learned from the experience of wrestling all these different guys, and has come back as a champion here now in Noah, and is, like we said, firing on all cylinders. He is helping lead this company along with this fantastic undercard.
Yeah, who would have thought you would have said that about Noah? That was one of the biggest problems with Noah. Their undercard stunk, and they had Jake Lee in the main event.
Yeah, and look, I mean, they're in the Nippon Budokan, right? 4,196. Let me see if I can get some looks about what other people have done on this show. I'm not going to look at the UJPW thing. Noah New Year last year they did 9,500, but the main event was the Nakamura Great Muta, so not that we can't really compare to that one. Let's see. All Japan had their 50th anniversary show, 4,700. It was the main event of Kento Miyahara defeating Suwama. Noah Destination. Here we go. from 2022, 2 years ago, 3,200. Main event was Kano defeating Satoshi Kojima. So in 2 years, they've added, what is that? 9,000? 900.
9,000. Oh my God, that was incredible.
900. Obviously, they get to the 9,000, like the Shinsuke Nakamura Great Muta match, but I also understand that not, getting as high. But look, they're on a recent attendance trend, an upwards trajectory. I think everything they're working is right now. And honestly, Scotty, they're probably the number one company in Japan right now.
Yeah, I mean, New Japan's always going to win in attendance, but
the quality isn't there. They're more skippable now than ever. And Noah,
as I like to say,
Noah, I watched the entire show in Noah. There are now shows where I want to watch the entire show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the M1 will be fun.
And I'm so much more excited for the N1 than I am the G1 Climax.
Big Tavian Heights guy. What can you say?
Big time. I'm a
You're watching the tapes.
I'm watching TNA this week to get ready. Got to get myself hyped up.
Sorry to hear that.
The other match on the show, obviously, was the semi-main event. AJ Styles defeating Naomichi Marufuji in 25-27.
You don't want none.
You said you wanted a discussion about AJ Styles. What does that entail?
I don't think he's washed.
Ooh, you've come around.
I came on this show earlier this year.
Several times.
And I said he was washed. And, I think I was right. But I also think that he didn't have a need to try for a very long time. Someone tweeted and reminded me that name who thou shall not be said booked AJ Styles for a year as a tag team with Omos. I wonder why AJ Styles wasn't trying all that hard.
Mm-hmm.
He is also, by the way, this man is gigantic. I never said that about AJ Styles in my life. He's
certified yoked.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's
a certified freak 7 days a week, Scotty.
100%. And he felt like a big star here.
Yeah.
Not that's shocking, but like his return felt like nostalgic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Nostalgic in a way. WWE did the right thing sending EO and AJ. These are the connections that these crowds have to them.
Yep.
And they both did such a great job. I think EO had the easier match to have because, she's wrestling Utami. Marufuji is still very, 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 very limited. But Marufuji could do enough, right? And that's what they did. They did enough for this to really work. And AJ bumped a lot for Marufuji.
Yep. Those hook kicks, just any knee kick combination throughout this entire match.
Yeah, I take everything. I want AJ to still do stuff though. That's my one thing now when he goes back.
It was like a hook kick into a knee, and then AJ's like, "Oh, you mother!" And then he gets
that was good. That was really good. I liked that.
Yeah, I want AJ to do more stuff coming out of this. It's coming out of Cody, coming out of this match. I want more.
You don't want them, but you actually do. You want more.
I want some. At the very least, I will say this: the one issue I did have to this match is that
maybe it's the theme song. Maybe the new theme song
adds energy. I will say.
What's up? Oh, I don't even know. AJ Styles, something.
I will say the one downside to this match that I did enjoy. Nothing against these guys, but I think it's just the age thing. Little gassed out of these two guys.
Oh yeah, you can see Marufuji like started to. He was like, "All right, this is a little bit much now."
Yeah, I think if you shave 5 minutes off this match, then I think you could have gotten an even better performance out of these two. But it just became a thing of like, all right, we need to keep going.
Yeah. I think AJ did his best to keep it good, but like you could tell at the end, Marufuji was like, "Oh, I have to get out of the Styles Clash first. Come on, man! Like my knees already don't work, bro." You want to hear some of these lyrics for the AJ Styles song? Of course you do.
Sure, real quickly.
Time to run it up. Check scope. 10 toes down. I'm coming. Let's go. blood, sweat, tears, I'm grinding. I go. AJ Styles, I be styling like whoa.
Styling like whoa.
You don't really want none.
Very good, Scotty. That was a very good performance.
Thank you. I'll be here. I'll be here till Thursday.
Where are you going after Thursday?
That's what Shrek said in Shrek.
That's what Shrek said.
I have said that ever since I've seen that movie. I'll be here till Thursday, and everyone always goes, "Why Thursday?" I don't know. That's what Shrek said. I don't have any other better reason than that.
It's pretty good.
I'm like, whoa.
The only thought I had here listed down on Noah was who and when are Noah going to send some people to WWE/NXT? We've sent WWE has sent over AJ Styles. They sent over Shinsuke Nakamura. They've sent over Tavion Heights. They sent over Josh Briggs. Obviously, I guess you could say Noah sent over Muta for the Hall of Fame, but other than that, I mean, Noah's not sending anybody over. They're teasing a Marufuji Cody thing, but is that going to happen?
That would be crazy and kind of sick. Imagine if they sent Cody.
That would be insane.
That would be gigantic.
Japanese legend Cody.
Cody's the biggest star in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be insane.
Mm-hmm. Is it maybe for the Japanese tour that they have? I don't know. I just wonder, like, who is Noah going to send? They got to send somebody at some point. There's no way WWE is sending all these people and getting nothing out of it.
Would they put Marufuji in the Hall of Fame, you think?
Maybe.
As the international guy?
Maybe. But it feels like he's still wrestling and almost like,
Hear me out.
Of it.
Hear me out.
Night 1 of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes versus Marufuji. Night 2, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena.
They send someone to face Oba Femi. You're welcome.
Masa Kiyomiya.
Yoichi. Oh, sorry. Yoshiki Inamura.
Yoichi would be nice.
I don't know. It's weird, right? That like they're just getting like because we know what Marigold's sending.
Yeah.
No, it ain't sending shit.
Yeah. It's they're either we don't there's stuff that's happening obviously that we don't know, but it's extremely one-sided right now, and that's very weird for WWE.
Unless taking NXT talent is part of what WWE feels they're getting out of it.
Is enhancing their WWE talent. Maybe.
If so, I like this deal. If that's the case, I'm in.
Send me more Tavion Heights. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Send
the Heights.
Send whatever Olympic or send whatever college athlete you want. As long as you keep sending like AJ Styles and I guess Cody someday.
I never knew I wanted Sol Ruka versus Bozilla, but hey, send her over.
I saw multiple people be like, all right, we need Sol Ruka in the Dream Star Grand Prix. I was like, oh, I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out on that.
Yeah, I guess they could send people for that. I didn't think about that. Plausible.
But we'll see. It's a weird world we live in now.
It's going to be like Easy Dame. It's going to be...
Somehow WWE is doing the thing that I wanted AEW to do for the past 4 years, which is send younger talent over to Japan to get better.
Have you been able to hear me, by the way, for the past couple minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought I was on mute.
No. I would have said something.
I know. Oh, yeah. For some reason, my mute thing was on, but it wasn't muted, so I was very confused.
No, you're good. But like they're doing what I wish AEW was doing, sending young talent for tours.
Great point. That's a great point. I don't know.
How is this happening?
I don't know. How is WWE getting it right? I don't know.
Come make the fight back.
You can't let them win. They're gaining yards.
They're doing a Wagner around you. Joke is Wagner just ran in circles while Galeno Damal did the running back and forth. That's what they're doing. Yeah. They're pacing you. Wake up. Fight back.
They took Stephanie Vaquer from you. They're taking Julia. I mean, I don't know if you even wanted.
Supposedly they didn't want Julia.
But I digress. G1 Climax. G1 Climax.
Who the fuck cares?
Let's talk about it real quick. Saturday.
We did a whole episode for the preview last year. This is just here it is.
Here it is. Saturday, they have two. They have shows this weekend in Osaka. On Saturday, it's going to be. I'm gonna read you all the matches. I'll give me a yeah to nay scale, nay to yeah scale.
I'll give you a yeet or no yeet.
Thank God.
And I just want to say this. I just want to say this before you go. Before you go with the you're not leaving the show mid-show.
See ya.
See ya. This is like the best G1 lineup in terms of just like going back to the 2 blocks that we've done since this show started.
Yep.
And we couldn't give a shit less.
I'm more interested in the G1 because of that, but
yeah,
there's still elements. I mean, I'm excited for this G1 more than other ones in the past, obviously, but there's New Japan in the context of New Japan is also very cold. All right, so night 1, Yeet versus no Yeet. Here we go. Well, that's not the match. Ren Narita versus Oleg Boltin, who is obviously formally in the tournament now. Fine.
I do love me some Oleg Boltin.
Yeah. So is that a Yeet or a no Yeet?
Yeet.
Well, come on. If you're gonna do a Yeet, you gotta hit me with the picture.
Yeet.
There we go. This late into Ring Post Radio is for the sickos. Like if you're still listening to Ring Post Radio and you're
not the AEW sickos, just the sickos.
This is for the RPR heads out there that join for the wrestling discussion, but stay for the inevitable chaos that the show devolves into. Anyways, Shota Umino versus Callum Newman, who also formerly made his entrance into the G1 Climax.
No yeet.
El Phantasmo versus Hanare.
No yeet.
That's the antithesis.
That's the anti Scott E match.
Yeah, that's a fast forward for Scotty right there. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Great O'Khan.
No yeet.
Maybe a year or two ago that could have been a yeet, but no longer. I'm so over Great O'Khan.
Is it bad? My only yeet is Oleg Boltin versus Ren Narita.
Not great. Hiroki Goto versus Jeff Cobb.
Yeet!
Oh, that's a good yeet. Sonata versus Jake Lee. Oh. Oh no! I didn't realize it was this early.
That's probably a good thing that it's this early. It won't be a jump scare and like
get it out of the way.
It won't be a jump scare in the middle of like Sendai. Yeah. No yeet, but also kind of yeet because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so bad. I gotta watch it. I don't usually do that, but this one's a special kind. 25 minutes of boredom.
You think they're getting 25?
Have you watched a Sonata match ever?
Have you seen a Jake Lee match ever? Okay, moving on. David Finlay versus Yuya Uemura.
Oh dear God!
All right, this show sucks.
This is the anti-Ryan match.
Oh brother, this show stinks.
The problem is I'm going to watch most of these.
I'm going to watch all of it.
I probably will because it's day 1.
Yeah.
2. So fuck. No yeet.
Get ready for this one. Evil versus Gabe Kidd. I don't know.
I don't think that works.
No, I think there's a chance something could be there, but I don't know.
Evil should make him lose. Cool.
Yeah.
Got him.
Let's turn it around.
Yeah, it only took 8 matches.
Yota Tsuji versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeet!
Biggest heat of all.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. It stays here until I'm done talking about the match.
Only one man can have all this yeet.
Takeshita's like the savior most days. Because even if like I don't like the guy he's facing, I'm like, oh well, that's Takeshita, so it's probably gonna be good. He should probably just win this.
The whole
thing. Piss off New Japan fans.
Well, there's a good chance he wins this opening match.
I think he's definitely in the playoff. too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree.
Oh,
I think he's making
get rid
it.
of that. Ah! We were naked for a second there. Oh, that was close. This is once that 2-hour point goes by, we're off the hinges.
We're in overtime, baby.
Yeet!
And the finals, the final match of the first night of G1, Shingo Takagi versus Tetsuya Naito.
Yeet.
That's a yeet.
That's a yeet. Has that ever happened?
Ooh,
baby, sorry.
I don't know. I'll look it up real quick. I don't.
It's hard to look up though because he tags Shingo Takagi 100 times a year.
Well,
so.
Baby,
it's had to happen, right?
Had to have happened. Let's see. I got it submitted and searching. I don't think so. It has happened. It probably would another G1 would be my guess.
2019 G1.
So his first G1 coming out.
Oh, it was only rated 5 stars.
Well, to be fair, that was also Naito 5 years ago.
Naito pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
9.43 on Cage Match, and I asked myself, has this match happened before?
It's only happened once, 5 years ago.
And it was bona fide 5 stars.
It's a bona fide freak.
Oh my god, Tai Chi versus Juice Robinson happened? That is my match.
Night 2 was also in Osaka. Just real quickly, the semi-main event.
I gotta yeet. No, I gotta yeet. I gotta yeet.
I gotta get my yeet off.
Gotta get my yeet off. Gotta get my yeet on.
All right.
Start from the bottom.
You mean the top or the bottom? I guess it'll be the bottom. Sonata versus Callum Newman.
Ooh, no yeet.
Hanare versus Oleg Bolton. A subtle yeet. A quick little pop in of a yeet.
By the way, I think Oleg Bolton should win both matches. Not even slightly kidding.
I doubt he will, but
he should win one of them.
Well, Hanare's champion, so I doubt that's going to be that. He's going to beat.
Yeah, but what if he's going to get a never open weight title match? Oleg Bolton. What? Which way do I say his name? Is it Bolton? Is it Oleg Bolton or Bolton Oleg?
Well, in Japan they do the last names first too, so that's more confusing.
Only for some people.
I know. It's very confusing. Anyways, Gabe Kidd versus Great Okan. That's a no yeet.
That sounds deplorable. I don't think I'm going to watch a single Great Okan match.
I'm up. I'm almost there. There might be one or two that I'm like, all right, and then otherwise, no.
He's really bad.
El Phantasmo versus Ren Narita.
Oh my god, that is awful. The only good thing about all the awful people going already is like, oh, maybe there's something good that's going to sneak up on me that I don't know about. That's really bad.
Speaking of Evil versus Jake Lee.
Can I get a yeet? Not even kidding. I am so locked in for that. I hope he embarrasses that punk. Evil forever.
I don't even know who the he and Punk is in these equation. Evil or Jake Lee embarrassing the other. I don't even know.
Obviously, I'm not cheering for Jake Lee. Evil's my. We're back on, baby. Can I get a yeet? This is the best segment we ever created. We've taken your yeet and no yeet segment that you did and I no sold once upon a time, and it has now become the best segment on the show because of yeet.
I feel so bad for our audio only listeners. I love you guys, but I feel so bad. Can we just talk about the first Jake Lee matches as a New Japan possible talent? Is Sonata and Evil? God, fucking Christ. Fucking put me on a cross of him and then call it a jeez.
What are the chances the Evil match is better? 100%?
The bet is which one has a better cage match rating? Evil Jake Lee or Sonata Jake Lee?
I think Sonata will because people hate Evil.
I think you're right. I think you're probably right.
But they're incorrect, obviously.
They obviously are incorrect. Hiroki Goto.
It's so crazy how into Hiroki Goto I am because of one match this year.
I think he's your Japanese AJ Styles. Where he's just like,
he's not actually washed.
He's like one match, and you're like, I'm in.
He should come out to the same theme song. You don't want none. AJ Styles, I don't really like to. Whoa. I don't know.
He should come out to AJ's old song. It's like inherited that one.
Yeah. What is it? Oh my god.
I don't even remember anymore. Anyways, it's Hiroki Goto.
No, I am remembering it. Something about a Mack truck. Don't get run over. What the hell is it though? What's the chorus? 1 second.
You don't want none. Something you don't want none. Oh
yeah. Yeah. See, I keep coming back to the "You Don't Really Want None," which is his new song, and that's not it. I can think of his TNA theme song, which I think would be 10 times funnier. By the way,
I have it loaded up here. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Hot Boy Summer. They bring the torture. Show uses a wrench. And then there's Dick Togo. This is 2 years ago now. And Ujiro.
This is us having previewing G1 2 years ago.
They don't want none. They don't want none. They don't want none. No, they don't really want none. You're a Mack truck. Don't get run over. Yeah. All right. Next match. What's the next? What is it?
Finish this match.
God, I'm the worst.
Hiroki Goto versus Yuya Uemura. All of that.
All right. All of that. No. This is very serious. Yuya Uemura. You, me, right now. Hiroki Goto made Yota Tsuji. He's gonna try to make you. If you don't show up, it's over. The baseline match now in New Japan Pro Wrestling is Young Talon versus Hiroki Goto. If you don't show up, I'm not blaming Goto. I'm blaming you.
If you don't show up, you don't want none. You don't want none.
You don't want none.
Next up, Shingo Takagi versus Shota Umino. Gotta move us along, Scotty. I'm so sorry. Gotta move us along. I love these bits. We gotta move on. Shingo versus Shota. Could be a yeet.
Yeet, I guess.
Yeah. Tetsuya Naito versus Zack Sabre Jr. That's a solid yeet. That's a solid yeet.
Very yeet.
David Finlay versus Yota Tsuji.
They had a good match. They had a
cup, right?
Yeah, they had no, because David Finlay got sick. I think they had a match after that, and it was pretty good. So you know what? A little bit of heat.
A little baby.
I don't mind David Finlay. I think he's done a lot better this year quietly. Like he's not Jay White ripoff anymore. He's David Finlay.
Yeah.
I mean, out of all the shitty things in New Japan, like something's got to work.
Who's the leader of Bullet Club War Dogs? Jake Lee or David Finlay?
Please be David Finlay.
See, Jake Lee's coming in as a sub guy. Maybe.
Well, he shouldn't be a main star.
I'm just gonna flash forward. Obviously, so the G1 Climax is gonna have the playoffs where like the best top 3 people of each block move ahead. But just looking ahead to the last 2 nights of block action. You have August 12th is when the last Block A matches will be happening. Evil versus Shota Umino, Naito versus Great Khan, Shingo Takagi versus Jake Lee, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata, Gabe Kidd versus Callum Newman. And I'm pointing this out also is like with these playoffs and these 3 people moving in, I have no idea which of these matches matter and don't. Like I feel like Kidd Newman doesn't matter. Evil Shooter probably matters. Saber Sonata probably matters. Shingo Jake Lee probably matters. Naito Great Khan could matter for all I know. You know, he's going in as champion. So I have no idea. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's actually a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Shota, Shingo,
Kaito?
and Zach.
Yes, that's
Gotta be Zach.
gotta be Zach.
I knew I was missing someone. I was like, it's gotta be someone. Yeah,
It's gotta be Zach. Okay, and then block B
hey,
on.
that was good.
Thank you. August 14th, night 16. El Phantasmo versus David Finlay. Hiroki Goto versus Hanare. That's a never title match I've ever seen one. Jeff Cobb versus Yota Tsuji. Yuya Uemura versus Oleg Bolton. Poof. Konosuke Takeshita versus Ren Narita.
Takeshita, Tsuji,
Finlay?
I think Finlay loses to Phantasmo, sets up an IC title match or whatever the fuck that belt is.
I could maybe. I think Takeshita should probably be in the playoffs. However, him versus Ren Narita, I don't think you can write off a situation where Takeshita needs to beat Ren Narita to get in, and Ren Narita being an upset.
My hot take is Takeshita goes undefeated.
Ooh, extremely hot.
Spicy.
That's as hot as a cinnamon bun.
How hot are cinnamon buns?
Warm. We didn't talk about it. We're on 2.5 hours. We didn't talk about TNA. We didn't talk about AEW Owen Hart finals. I can do Slammiversary super quick if you want to do that. And Owen Hart finals, I feel like are pretty important to talk about. But I don't know. What do you want to do? Do we stop here? Do we do like an overrun thing on Patreon? What do you want to do?
We can skip Slammiversary. I don't need to talk Slammiversary at all.
All right.
We'll review it next week. It's not good.
It's something. The biggest question coming out of here, they're sold out obviously for tickets. I think the biggest question to watch for with TNA is, do they get more buys because of the NXT stuff at all?
No.
My prediction, no.
No. I don't have much to say about the
Owen Hart stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I want to talk about is the Owen Hart finals. Danielson versus Paige, I thought had a great match. Mariah May versus Willow, I thought was really good. The angle, obviously, following Mariah May and Willow was phenomenal. Blooding up Toni Storm was great. Obviously, the bloody mess that was Danielson Paige was also really great. A lot of blood on Dynamite, and blood, heat, all that sells. But I just wanted to talk real quickly about the two matches it obviously sets up. Obviously, Toni Storm versus Mariah May at Wembley, which nice little showcase. We all thought this was going to go this way. And then you get Bryan Danielson versus Swerve for the title at Wembley. Do you have any thoughts on that being the title match with Paige not in it at all? And Paige only getting Swerve now via the Blood and Guts match.
It's interesting. There's multiple ways to look at it. I really do think Hangman should have got the spot because I feel like they've taken so much from him in terms of giving him opportunities and just never. Sometimes it feels like they just never fully go with him, if that makes sense. But you only get one chance at this Danielson thing.
Agreed.
He's not going to be full time anymore.
They're already calling it.
What just happened?
I don't know. They're already calling it like his final countdown.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. It's you have to.
You have to. It's in my. You can do as we've talked about. You can do Hangman it all out.
Mm-hmm.
I think Swerve beating Danielson, though.
Swerve will have beaten probably Okada, Danielson, Ospreay, Joe.
Do you
in this run?
Do you think it won't matter? Like, you don't think there'll be backlash against Swerve if he wins that match? Because obviously everyone's going to be there supporting Danielson.
No.
Okay.
No, I think knowing
if they have a great match, it doesn't matter.
If they have a great match, it doesn't matter. Knowing it's probably Danielson's last full-time match, I don't think people will care as much.
Okay. Yeah, I would have Hangman.
The match just has to be great. The match just has to be great.
I think Swerve's title run being him getting wins over Ospreay, Danielson right before losing it to Hangman is very, very good.
I was thinking about the other day about how the similarities I thought of like the MJF stuff and about how like MJF had to beat a lot of people's faves.
Yeah.
To become like a star, and like they're doing a similar thing with Swerve, except it's working way more. Both I think in attendance, but also in my personal interest. Like I don't like am I allowed to come on to Ring Post Radio yet and talk about how I think AEW is on a current hot streak right now? Very small hot streak, but for me right now they're heating up, and I think they're heating up for the summer. You know,
it's a hot boy summer. You know, Blood and Guts is in 2 weeks. I just learned this.
I didn't know that, but that makes me excited for it. You know,
250 is this week, and then Blood and Guts is the week after.
They got Mark Briscoe, Darby, Swerve all in a cage against the Elite with Paige. I'm into it.
You missed it. You missed the duo.
Are they adding FTR?
You know they're adding the Acclaimed.
Oh, I know. Well, they haven't announced. The Acclaimed have been around the entire time, and they haven't announced it yet for some reason. So I don't know why. But
they probably know no one wants them in there.
It makes me think it's not the Acclaimed, but also it's like, who else is it going to be?
It would be FTR then, I guess.
I think that's the only other people that make
sense.
And they also just came back, so that could be certainly part of it.
So you know I hate Blood and Guts.
Uh-huh.
But the Hangman Swerve part has me on the edge of my seat, baby.
Yeah.
So I am intrigued, even if the build to this match has been kind of bad.
So next week is Ospreay versus MJF, and then Okada versus Swerve, and the week after that is Blood and Guts.
Yeah. As Dave said, they're packing these shows trying to get the best TV deal possible. And they're probably going to do that until they get one.
Well, the ratings haven't gone up.
No, but they did really good on July 3rd, and that was a good look.
Yes, I'm saying like the total ratings and the 18 to 49 demo.
I mean, it's not going to go up.
They've gone up in the charts, but they're not going up, and it's just like,
yeah.
Can we just get a little bumps? You know, can we just get, if they don't get my thing is like, if they don't get a bump on 250, it's sort of just like, is this just the audience now? 700.2, whatever it is.
I really kind of want MJF to flop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know, he's his first match. You can't.
I can't stand him.
Yeah.
I told you this, and I'll say it here before we get out of here. Yeah. WWE couldn't have benefited more from AEW re-signing MJF. And I say that because if they got MJF, he would have been whatever for them. And they're already hot, so they don't need him, is my point.
Correct.
But he's instead stuck in AEW, and to me, actively ruins their show. You know? And I think most people are kind of there with me. Like, it's almost like he's a sabotage for AEW without them having to do anything.
Yeah. I don't enjoy his work.
No. I do not enjoy his work.
I love
Sikoa, same guy.
I love Will Ospreay making fun of his tattoo. I was like, yes.
Do you think that match will be? I don't know how that match is going to be. I guess MJF as a heel is a better worker.
MJF as a heel is a better worker, and Ospreay is Ospreay, so I think it's still going to be great.
I think MJF wins. I guess 250 we will definitely talk about next week because it's kind of a major show.
And it's kind of leading into Blood and Guts as well. I don't know. I think there's a total possibility MJF wins just because it feels like it almost feels like now that they're doing this match here, it feels like the hot match for MJF and maybe even Ospreay, mostly MJF, obviously, is Danny Garcia. Whatever's happening with that. Like, so if MJF wins and that's like the title match or whatever, like that almost makes sense. And also, by the way, you know, I don't know if they should do that, but a fun idea is Ospreay giving up his Wembley spot and his rematch clause gimmick to someone he thinks deserves it, and out comes Danny Garcia.
That'd be a bold move.
Extremely. I'd be there and be like, yes.
So
maybe
I still expect MJF versus he pulls the Cody Rock. I still a little different. I still expect MJF and Ospreay to be on Wembley, but Ospreay winning and doing MJF versus Garcia and Ospreay versus Pac at Wembley works.
Yeah.
Also, Ospreay versus Pac is far more exciting for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot that it's going to be
Pac versus the winner.
Yeah, I forgot the whole Pac situation.
And they're both British.
Huh? Who?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Got a lot of Brits on the show. Got a lot of Brits on the show.
Britt Baker? That is a lot of Brits. You got Britt Baker and then you got 2 Brits. How about that? That's
4 Brits. You got Mariah May.
Hey, how about that?
Hey, yo, you get the Brits all over here. Hey, yo.
Now we're Italian. The Brit, not the Brit. The Mariah May segment was tremendous, by the way. I want to give that 100% credit. Good shit. But yeah, we're now Italians talking about Brits.
Hey, yo, I'm Brit over here. Hey, yo.
And you got... No, that's it.
Hey, yo, my mama's gabagool over here. I'm a Brit.
Hey, I'm Italian. All right. You're going a little too far.
Look, I can make fun of Italians all I want. They were on the wrong side in World War II. What, too soon?
Jesus.
Too soon?
All right, everybody.
That's it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Thank you so much for being a part of this dumbass show. I cannot believe that we've been doing this for so long. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to this. If you wanted to watch this, if you were trying to watch this on the Countout Twitter page, I apologize. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Countout Wrestling Podcast Network on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel because it's not going to be on the Countout Twitter anymore unless I pay for it, and I don't want to give money to Elon Musk. I fucking forgot all my stuff. Anyways,
Patreon.com/something.
Yeah. Match of the week. Anything to plug, Scotty?
That we didn't talk about? Oh God.
I don't have
I think we talk about every, I'm
gonna shout out the Global Glory 4-way. Claudio, Ishii, Pac, and Kyle Fletcher. I thought was really good.
I watched some of NXT. This is the only other wrestling I watched this week.
NXT Heat Wave?
Yeah, so I'll do the Axiom and Nathan Frazier match. I don't remember who they faced, but it was good.
Chase
U. Those two are really Axiom and Nathan Frazier, very good.
Now I'm seeing that you're saying
they should do them versus Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf.
Fuck, that actually would be great. I see you're saying that match was great, except Cage match disagrees with you, and they're saying that it's Sol Ruka's match was great and the Obafemi match was great, and every other match was better than that one. Do you have anything to say about Cage to all those Cage match voters?
Well, they're wrong. Just absolutely wrong. I've only watched those 3 that you just named, and Oba versus Wesley was a bona fide squash that went too long. Sol Ruka and Kalani, they did a lot of cool things, but it wasn't like a match. It's just like, watch us do cool things, which I don't have a problem with.
Spot sort of thing.
Very much so. They're going to be very good, but they're both still so new, so they don't have the intangibles yet. The
intangibles, the ring psychology.
Right. You're going from next move to next move, which is fun and all because every next move is some ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up here, there's only one person that knows psychology, Ryan.
Yes, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Who perhaps?
Yes, I'm happy. Yes.
Mystico knows psychology.
That is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get the podcast. Patreon.com/CounterPod for more audio and video. We'll be back next week for a crap ton more stuff. Until then, goodbye, everybody.